ton of fun.
This sporting event on KMA, brought to you by the Sportscasters Club.
Hey, thank you, Don, and a good evening to you tonight from Bedford. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson here with you. We've got the Back 40 Battle. Love that nickname. Or the rivalry name, and I love this game tonight. Two teams, 2-0 in 8-man action. Looking one of them to move to 3-0, Todd Jacobson.
You know, this rivalry between these two schools is amplified by the fact that both teams are playing in the same district. Both teams are 2-0 and coming off two convincing wins to start the season. Bedford, Lenox, these kids know each other. They wrestle together. So this is going to be a real interesting matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Both these teams have had some dominant wins so far this year. Bedford took care of what I felt like was going to be a really good Lamoni team coming here. Maybe they still will be. It's early in the season, but Bedford didn't have much trouble with them. Then they took care of Griswold last week, 52-0. Meanwhile, Lenox, they've put up 64 and 76 points in their respective wins over Seymour and East Mills. And Todd, with both these teams, it starts in the trenches.
It does, and if you are an 8-man fan and you like to watch a good passing team, you're not going to see it tonight. No. Because both these teams, they win it up front. Both these teams will try to run the ball. For Bedford, they have 15 different guys that have carried the football thus far in those two games. And for Lenox, with two big linemen up front that were first-team all-district players in Castor and Whipple and Marshall, they've got three guys up front that are just going to try to control the game and try to win it up front. And I think it's really going to come down to who can consistently do it and who's going to win the turnover battle. Both teams have kind of taken advantage of that in their first two games thus far.
Yeah, Lenox offensive line averages 260, Bedford 252 for an 8-man team. That is massive. And you mentioned the turnovers. Bedford's had 2 scoop-and scores this year. I believe they forced 8 total turnovers in 2 games. Going to be fun to keep an eye on here tonight. We had a chance to talk with both sides of this matchup. Lenox is co-led by Cole Bond and Michael Nardini. Of course, Coach Bond, a Bedford graduate, went on to a career at Northwest Missouri State and now is in charge of the defense over there for the Tigers, and also Bedford head coach Jeremy Nally. So we're going to hear from them as we get you set for this game. It's Lenox, Bedford, our game of the week here in Taylor County on the KMA video stream. Our game of the week takes us to Taylor County this Friday night. It's the Back 40 Battle, Lenox and Bedford. I've got to call that one on the KMA video stream alongside Todd Jacobson. Now, you heard about it from the Bedford side earlier this week with head coach Jeremy Nally. Now we are talking with the co-head coach for Lenox, Cole Bond. And, Coach, you guys are 2-0 heading into this rivalry battle, and you've looked pretty darn impressive in the process. How are you guys feeling as you head to week 3?
You know, we started the year off with Seymour, and our starters didn't get to play all that much, and, we were really curious coming into week 2, having to play a longer game, how are we going to handle the heat and that sort of thing. And, our kids made extremely good strides from week 1 to week 2. There's still things we have to touch up on, but, I really like where we're at right now.
Yeah, you guys didn't have much trouble with an East Mills team that looked impressive in week 1. You guys put 76 points up on them. Talk a little bit about those strides. Where were some of the areas that you saw those massive leaps from week 1 to week 2?
We've got a very experienced O-line, and our backfield is not as experienced, and for the offensive line, a lot of them are like, let's not try to take the kid out. Let's just get in front of them, get to our block, and go to the next guy, just kind of settling down, being ourselves. And our backs just getting more experience and reading the blocks right and that type of thing, just the little things. And, we preach little things all the time. And, the kids have really kind of started buying into that, and I think it's helped us a lot.
Touch a little bit more on that offensive line. They've been bullies so far this season. What is it like to have not only one, a massive group like that on the front line of an 8-man football team, but also to have the experience that they've had? Obviously, it's paid dividends for you guys.
Yeah, it has. They've played a lot of ball for us, and for us, it's extremely nice, because they've played so many reps. They've had so many downs, and they know what they're supposed to do. It's we can kind of critique the real little things like let's not do this. Let's do this, and make it better for us. And, they've really bought into everything. And those three guys, really set the tone for the game. They're very big, they're physical, and they move really well for how big they are. And, it all starts with those guys, and it filters through everybody else.
Again, tagging with Lenox co-head football coach Cole Bond. I know you run the defense over. Coach Michael Nardini's been in charge of the offense. So from the defensive standpoint, what have been some things that you've liked? What are some things maybe, too, that you guys are still trying to build off of?
Yeah, so our D-line is relatively new to this. We've got Devin Whipple in the middle who's been there. He's the experienced one down low. Then Dawson and Hernan are working on at D-ends, and they've really taken huge strides. They're D-tackle bodies, but they're quick enough and do the job right to where they fit in at D-end. And, they've really learned, they're growing. And then our linebackers, Keaton Kitzman and Jonathan Weaver, do a tremendous job for us. Everything starts with them. If there's a check, it goes through them to the DBs. I mean, it's all about being on the same page for us on defense. And, we miscommunicated some of the early Arnice Mills, and, kind of came around to it. So that's just something we have to keep repping.
Bedford is the opponent coming up. I'm sure for you being a Bedford alum, this is always an interesting matchup and maybe one you look forward to. But they're playing pretty well themselves under Coach Nally. What are some things that you've seen from them that you guys are paying attention to and trying to prepare for?
It's always a fun dynamic, when you go back home where you came from, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I know all the coaching staff, and they're awesome guys, and they coach very well. I mean, the kids that they have are, very disciplined, and, they would run through a wall for that coaching staff, and I respect that so much.
And people willing to help. Just a few reasons that Bedford Drug is the pharmacy with more for you. Get professional and experienced advice on the spot. Bedford Drug on Main Street in Bedford.
When buying insurance, finding protection closer to home is always a great choice. Legacy Mutual Insurance in Clarinda is a local company and has served communities in Southwest Iowa since 1870. We have independent agents ready to help you with your farm, home, and auto coverage. Go to our website at legacymutualia.com for a complete listing of our agents. For over 150 years, your family's needs and success have been our priority. That's our legacy at Legacy
Iowa
Mutual
Western
Insurance.
Community College has important news for you. If you're a high school senior trying to figure out what your next step in life will be after high school, consider this. Students learning trade-specific skills will get you into the workplace quicker, making a good living and having a lot less college debt. Iowa Western offers 1 to 2 year programs in nursing, welding, industrial tech, and advanced manufacturing, plus many others. Great skills and great pay in less time. Talk to Iowa Western Community College in Clarinda and Shenandoah and start planning your future now.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson with you. We apologize. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. You might have dropped out and not been able to hear the entirety of that interview with Bedford head football coach Jeremy Nally. But nonetheless, we are here and ready to entertain you tonight in this Class 8-man District 9 battle. And Todd Jacobson, as we get ready, what are some things you're keeping an eye on tonight?
Well, the very first thing is going to be the line of scrimmage. And between both teams, it's going to be who can establish the run game. Both these teams have kind of taken a lot of pride in being able to run the ball. Between both teams, in fact, we have 18 total pass attempts in both games. So who can control that line of scrimmage and then who's going to take advantage of any turnovers that happen, I think is going to be really key.
Yeah, both these teams have ran wild. Lenox is coming off a 400-plus yard performance in their win over East Mills where they put up 76 points. Coin toss going on right now. Bedford opts to defer. Lenox is going to get the football first. Todd Jacobson, and if you're Lenox, like this is a chance to really kind of make a statement and early on. And if you're Bedford, you can do the same with a defensive stop.
Right, and I think that's the intent. Coach Nally from Bedford, you want to defer because you want to put your defense out there first and get a chance to pin Lenox back and let's see how your defense fares against this very big offensive line and powerful ground game that the Lenox Tigers have.
Yeah, Lenox, we'll get to their starting offense here in just a moment, but we've mentioned a lot. Dawson Marshall, Devin Whipple, Hernan Castor. They go 235, 300, 245. They've got a freshman quarterback in Gabe Funk that's off to a strong start to the season. Bedford getting ready to kick things off here, and teeing it up for them is going to be Shea Purdy. Looks like they've got Isaac Grunman back to return, as well as Waylon Cook for Lenox. We're about ready to get this back 40 battle underway, and the kick, it's a line drive. It'll be fell on at the 25-yard line. That was Keegan Kitzman that gets there, and that's where Lenox will begin their first drive.
We're going to keep an eye on Isaac Grunman. He has 6 touchdowns so far. He's been the proverbial bell cow so far for Lenox. They have a few other kids that will run, but so far we're going to try to keep an eye on him. And
so Gabe Funk is the freshman quarterback. Also, they like to use a fullback in Keegan Kitzman. And Funk will go split back, and they'll go to Kitzman, who bowls forward, keeps the legs moving, turns no gain into about a 1 or 2 yard gain.
Split backs for Lenox. First guy through, trying to challenge those linebackers is that they're just trying to get the fullback through the A-gap. Great job by the Bedford linebackers being able to come up, Purdy and Daly coming up and attacking that.
So going to mark it as 2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs on their own, or for the Tigers on their own 27. Again, they'll go split back, Funk under center. Bedford, they like to blitz. They'll keep it. Grumman's got room. Grumman can't quite break out of the tackle. He's got a first down up north of the 36-yard line. But Isaac Grunman moves the chains for Lenox.
Great cutback run from Grunman right there, because his initial point of attack was taken away. But Bedford had blitzed the linebacker on the backside, so there was nobody on the backside. So he saw some opening and got 11 yards.
Grumman, I could tell just from that first run, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more now, does a really good job at changing gears. Got to another speed really quick. And again, they'll go with the split back. Grumman and Kitzman back there, and they'll fake it to Grumman. Now they go to Kitzman, who spins out of a tackle. The ball comes out. Did Bedford get it before it went out of bounds? They're going to say it did not. Diving on that one looked like Quentin King, but couldn't get it in time, and Lenox will maintain it.
What a big play that could have been. And that was a counter, just a counter play where they kicked out the defensive end, and plenty of room, because you're trying to see if a team's over pursuing, which Bedford had on those first 2 plays. And that was a 10-yard gain, first down.
So now Lenox has it in Bedford territory at the 34. They've mixed it up with Grunman and Kitzman. They'll give it to Grunman, who cuts up the middle, makes a couple people miss, and then is brought down by a pile. Braden Daly in there on the stop. Also, so was Shea Purdy. And it sets up second, very manageable for the Tigers.
Yeah, Lenox is coming out with even 2 tight ends, so they're just putting everybody up front and just really challenging Bedford to tackle in that box. And, Grunman's, it's nothing flashy. It's one, he puts his foot in the ground and gets north and south.
Make it 2nd and 4, 10:25 left here in the first. Now Funk will work out of the shotgun. He's got a receiver to the left. It's Grunman. Funk will follow his blockers up the middle. Breaks out of a tackle and then gets brought down from behind. That was Dawson Stream making the stop, but it'll be a first down for Lenox after the run by Gabe Funk.
Boy, this is just going to be just a big ball in the trenches type of ball game. I mean, it's 3 yards, 4 yards, 8 yards. Just keep pounding, and I think after a while, if you're Bedford, I think you're going to see some multiple stunts and blitzes coming.
At 5 plays, 33 yards up to this point. Funk again will go to work out of the shotgun, and he'll hand it off up the middle. Grunman lowers his shoulder, runs into the pile. Stream there again. Also, that looked like number 33, Silas Walston. That's a name we'll hear a lot offensively there to stiffen things up, and it's going to be 2nd and about 4 or 5 coming up for Lenox.
Bedford's not really big up front. I think those guys are mainly just trying to hold their keys up front, and so far they are really making Lenox work for every yard. I'm really impressed. The linebackers are flying around for Bedford.
So 2nd and 7 coming up. They'll go I formation, and they hand it off. Grumman's got a hole. Blake breaks out of a tackle. The stiff arm to the 10 to the 5. Isaac Grunman, touchdown, Lenox.
Got to give a lot of credit. A lot of credit to the fullback, Kitzman, as he was able to get through that first opening hole and get the first linebacker. Grunman just made the second 2 guys miss for a Lenox touchdown.
And that's a stiff arm that you see a lot from another number 27 on Sundays, that being Derrick Henry, as it was a 19-yard scamper to make it 6-0. I'm not wrong, am I?
I mean, he's a little smaller than Derrick
Just
Henry.
a little bit. A lot of people are, though, to be fair. Funk will work out of the shotgun, and he'll hand it off to Kitzman, who breaks out of a tackle at the goal line and gets in for the 2-point try. So Lenox strikes first. They lead 8-0 here on the KMA video stream early in the first quarter here from Bedford.
Bedford Drug offers more than just your prescriptions. They are now providing immunizations, including flu, pneumonia, and shingles vaccinations. Plus, they offer prescription synchronization for your convenience. Stop in and visit with pharmacist Mike Schweitzer for more information. See their expanded gift selection, too. Convenience, competitive prices, and people willing to help. Just a few reasons that Bedford Drug is the pharmacy with more for you. Get professional and experienced advice on the spot. Bedford Drug on Main Street in Bedford.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson with you. And Todd, Lenox goes down the field. They're able to get on the board with a 19-yard touchdown run from Isaac Grunman.
That was a meticulous, just between the tackles. Nothing fancy. There was one counter in there, and, you know, those two running backs, the fullback, Kitzman, on that touchdown play, being able to lead block. And I think the early feel I'm getting on this game is that Bedford's going to have to keep scoring right with them.
So Trace Miller will kick off for Lenox, and he lines one that could bounce out of bounds, and it does inside the 5. Gage Godsey pulled away from that one, and that's going to give the Bulldogs a little bit better field position to start their first drive. That drive for Lenox, I had them go in 7 plays, 55 yards, capping off with a 19-yard scamper by Isaac Grunman. That is his 7th of the year through.
I think their choice is to make him kick it again with the penalty or take it from the 25, and Bedford's going to take it from the 25.
Do you like that decision, or?
I guess it depends on how much confidence do you have in your two returners.
So now Bedford will get things rolling, and under center for them is junior Tristan Cummins. He's over 4 touchdowns already this year. Low snap. Silas Walston gets the ball, falls forward for a couple. Did a good job of staying on his feet. Give him about 3, and he'll set up 2nd and 7 coming up for the Bulldogs.
The nose tackle for Lenox is Devin Whipple, and he is going to be a handful. He's right on the center, and the center is Nally, so he can match him.
That's some beef on beef right there. We'll work out of the shotgun. Cummings will go the end around to Walston. Walston following his blockers, breaks out on 1 tackle, falls forward. About the 33-yard line will be where they spot it. So, Todd, if you're going to get in a 3rd down situation, if you're Bedford, you like where you're at with 3rd and very manageable.
It has to be. And even if you don't get this, if it's 4th and short, you got to go for it. I don't see any reason why you're going to stop them right now when you're playing defense, the way Lenox is running the ball. But I want to give a lot of credit to the corners in an 8-man game are on an island out there. Whether it's covering a pass, covering a receiver, or coming up on the tackle. And so Trenton Beck really came up and stopped that one on the sideline for Lenox.
Cummings empty backfield shotgun, sets Walston in motion. They'll fake it. He wants to throw over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Shea Purdy. That would have been enough for a 1st down, but instead it's 4th down. Those are the types of plays, if you're Bedford, you got to capitalize on. Big
decision for Bedford. This is a 4th and 4, and I think
looks like
they're going for it. But, man, he put it right on him. You got to catch it. They're going to punt.
They're going to punt it with Shea Purdy, and Lenox is immediately back. Now they'll put Isaac Grunman back. So a 3-and-out for Bedford to start this game. And Purdy will tow one away. Grunman hauls it in at the 14, cuts to the right, tries to spin out of a tackle, gets brought down awkwardly inside the 20 by Silas Walston. That will be Lennox's next drive. Starts. There is a flag down, so
that's going to come back another 15 yards or 10 yards of block on the back on Lenox.
If you're just tuning in, Lenox took an early 8-0 lead with a touchdown run from Isaac Grunman. So we'll see now where this one starts out, but we've got 8:19 left here in the first, and there'll be a holding call on Lenox.
What a great open field tackle, though.
Yes. And Grunman tried his hardest to get out of it, but Silas Walston wouldn't have any part of that. And Lenox is going to start, looks like on the, we're going to call it the 10-yard line.
I'm really guessing that Bedford's going to have to start bringing some more guys because just running the three-man front, everything's getting to the linebackers, and then let's see if they make an adjustment here.
Funk runs the counter to Grunman, who's going to get a hefty workload tonight. He gets a couple.
That is an old-fashioned crossbuck.
Yep.
For all you old football guys and gals out there. The first guy doesn't get the ball, the second guy does it, and it's out of the split backs. So you're just getting the linebackers to maybe flow with and guess on where the ball's going.
Pretty sure that it's Tom Moore's favorite play in the history of the world as it gets 3 yards for Lenox, which wouldn't surprise me if
Back
it is.
in the old Griswold days, he'd crossbuck left and right.
2nd and 7. Funk will work out of the shotgun, running to the left behind his blockers. Gets a block from Grummy. Kind of lost his footing and gets brought down by Shea Purdy. That play looked like it had a lot of promise.
I thought he had the edge, and he tried to cut it back and lost his footing right there. But this, it's really too early to say that anything's the play of the game. But this is a really big play early in this game for Bedford on a 3rd and long.
Yeah, 3rd and 8. Right now, if you force a punt here, you're probably looking at reasonable field position as well. But you got to get there. Gabe Funk at quarterback. They'll go single back with Kitzman. They've got everybody bunched in. Funk wants to throw, rolling to the right. He goes downfield. He's got a man wide open. He can't get it to him. It falls incomplete. Jonathan Weaver was down there. They had Duncan Marshall as well. And if that's on the money, that is a walk-in touchdown.
A touchdown. He was uncovered. There was only one guy back, but both receivers were in the same area.
Yeah.
So that, to me, seems like that was a mistake on the route, on the 2 routes. But, yeah, it kind of caught Bedford thinking that was going to be a run, and it was open. But that's exactly what you wanted. If Coach Nally wanted to get a stop and get some good field position for his offense.
So now Lenox will punt it away, and it'll be Samson Adams, the 6'1 junior. Looks like Bedford has Quentin King back to return, and that punt sky high. King will let it roll. That's a nice punt from Adams. It's going to be down at the 17-yard line. So my Velisca math tells me that's 28 plus 23. That's a 51-yard punt.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Just, a guy that you put back there, save us at least another 15 yards by just coming up and catching it. And he had room. You let that ball and I bounce in front of him, and it went over his head and went another 15. So instead of really good field position, now they have decent at their own 17-yard line.
So Bedford will go to work now. Again, Tristan Cummings, a junior quarterback, out of an empty backfield shotgun. He's got a receiver on each side. He'll put a man in motion. And they do the end around Logan Bucher. He's got blockers. Bucher gets a block, cuts upfield. Bucher near midfield before being dragged down from behind. But Logan Bucher did a really good job of just following the guys in front of him and taking what was there.
And those blocks on the edge, and I'm trying to see the number. I think that was Weed.
I think it was.
Asher Weed is the end, was able to get outside the defensive end and seal that left edge. It was just a jet sweep, and there was nobody left. So great play design, and the blocking made it happen.
Chalk it up as a gain of 22 for Logan Bucher, a senior running back, tailback in the lineup for Coach Jeremy Nally's squad. Again, they'll go empty backfield shotgun. Bucher out on the right. They'll set Bucher in motion again, and they'll fake it to him. Pressure coming off the edge. Cummings is brought down. That play was kind of dead from the beginning, and there for the sack is Dawson Marshall. I didn't see who it was that made the initial contact. I think it was Connor Fitzgerald.
They brought a linebacker, Jonathan Weaver, and they have a 3-man front, but they've been either bringing a linebacker up to the line of scrimmage or, and that time they shot one through. They blitzed him from his position. They didn't bring him to the line of scrimmage, and there was an opening, just a mistake on the front, and Cummings was able to get rid of the first tackler, but couldn't get rid of the second one.
Makes it 2nd, about 18 coming up for Bedford now. Cummings in the pistol, wants to throw. Pressure coming, screen. It is hauled in by Gage Godsey, trying to follow his blockers. He'll get back close to the original line again, but it's going to be 3rd and long coming up at midfield for Bedford.
We were able to do the East Mills Bedford game last year, and Coach Nally loves that play. He loves the screen game, That is a middle screen with a wide receiver. And he loves doing that when they've got an aggressive defense. And it's a great play call when you got 2nd and 18.
And when you're talking Bedford, East Mills, those are two coaches that really love this screen game with East Mills head coach Kevin Schaefer as well. Here's 3rd and long coming up for Bedford near midfield. They'll put Walston in motion. The snap was low. They go the end around to Walston trying to follow his blockers. Gets up past midfield, knocked out of bounds late at the 37, 38-yard line. And, Todd, that's going to set up another 4th and long coming up for Bedford, the 39. So you're looking at 4th and about 8.
These two teams have drastically different running games.
Yes.
They're trying to run the ball, but Bedford is trying to get you. They're working sideline to sideline with all their run game. And Lenox, it's between those two ends or tackles. They're just running it right at you.
So Bedford will punt with Shea Purdy. Yeah, Bedford wanted to show their speed. Lenox wanted to show their physicality here early on. And Purdy, high snap on the punt. He gets it away. Nobody back to field it for Lenox. It'll take a bounce. Did it stay in? It did, and it's down at the 2-yard line is where they're going to spot it. Asher Weed gets the hands on it. Couldn't ask for a much better situation on that punt from Purdy.
It hit the ground and went sideways, which is exactly what you want the ball to do when you're shooting it inside the 10.
So we've got 5 minutes on the nose left here in the first quarter. Lenox up 8-0. They've got the ball on their own 2-yard line. They went 55 yards on 7 plays on their first drive, then had to punt on their next one. Here's Funk. They'll head it off up the middle. Kitzman, he keeps the line moving, gets up north of the 5, looks like maybe to the 7. We'll see where they officially spot it, but he's going to get about 5 on that one.
Straight dive out of that split backs again with Kitzman. He's the bigger of the two backs. And the linebackers are the ones that are having to come up. And so if they're not coming up and hitting those gaps, this is going to be a 5-yard gain, especially with the bigger back.
So 2nd and about 5 coming up for Lenox. Funk again will go split back. And they'll go Kitzman. Kitzman runs into the pile. Nothing there for the taking. Maybe ended up getting a yard out of that after kept the legs moving, but it's going to set up 3rd and mid-range coming up for Lenox.
Much, much better by that Bedford defense. They were able to get in the backfield and actually slow down any momentum that Kitzman was getting at.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. He's a bigger back, and if you let him get downhill and get to the line of scrimmage, it's going to be, at least a 3-yard gain because he's going to run people over.
So 3rd and we're going to call it 4 coming up for Lenox. Funk will work out of the shotgun. Grumman to his left. He'll keep it. Follows his blocks. Funk, I think he got the first down. Looks like he got it by about a yard from here, falling forward at the 14. Moves the chains. Big 3rd down conversion for the Tigers.
Funk he's a young player. This is his 3rd game as a varsity starter. So, he just needed to get uphill or downhill, and they were really flowing with Grumman on that play. And there was one guy left, and that was the defensive end. They got him kicked out, and first down.
3.5 left here in the first. Funk in the shotgun. He's got Kitzman flanked out left. They'll keep it with Grumman. Grumman ran into his own man and then gets walloped as well. Looked like he collided with Hernan Castor, and then Dawson Stream gets credit for the tackle.
Big play, and Dawson Stream is playing one of those linebacker, defensive line areas, and right now, they're not the biggest, but they're trying to use their quickness up front. In fact, Dawson Stream, and he's not, a very big kid, but he's playing nose guard. So they're just working. They're trying to get his quickness into the backfield.
Funk out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10 for Lenox, and again they'll go to Grumman. Grumman follows his blockers, tries to break out of a tackle. Logan Bucher latches onto an ankle and brings him down, but not before Isaac Grumman gets about 8 of that back to set up 3rd and 2. And Todd, if you're Lenox, you'll take your chances with 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want to. They do not come in with any type of solid passing game thus far on their resume. So they just want to get into these short yardage situations on 3rd down.
So we've got a 3rd and short coming up, and they'll hand it off Grumman. Grumman falls forward for the first at the 25. He needed 2. He got 3 at the 25-yard line.
Well, Lenox is just living on, just barely getting first downs. And, I mean, here we are. They've had the ball now for about 4 minutes, and they've gotten the ball out to the 25.
Lenox 16 rushes for 83 yards so far in this quarter as we are under 2 left here in the first in Bedford. 1st and 10 for Lenox on their own 25. Funk goes to Kitzman. He is met up by Braden Daly. Falls forward, though. Turns what looked like maybe it was only going to be a 1 or 2 yard gain into about a 4 or 5 yard gain.
Yeah, that's a great play because he cut back, and Daly was at home as a linebacker and met him chest to chest and moved him backwards. But here we are. That was a great defensive play, and Lenox got 5 yards on it.
Lenox right now is just saying, here's what we're going to do, try to stop it, and it's been 3 yards in a cloud of smoke for the Tigers up to this point. As they'll go I formation on 2nd and 5. Funk, play action, wants to throw, has a man wide open. Kitzman, he misses him again, and that's the second time this quarter that the Bedford secondary got caught napping but got away with what could have been a stand-up touchdown.
That is a touchdown. He was wide open, and that was the fullback. Well, they'd run the split back, so he just runs through the line of scrimmage. The corners are out there on their ends, and there is nobody left. Bedford does not have a safety back there, so he was wide open. And young quarterbacks got to get used to putting a little touch on those.
So here's 3rd and 5. Again, they'll go with the I formation with Kitzman and Grunman back there. Here's a toss right side. Actually, it's Xavier Adamson. Grunman breaks out of a tackle now, trying to follow through. He stays on his feet and falls down the 35-yard line. Nice block from Xavier Adamson to pave the way, and another 3rd down conversion for the Tigers.
Old-fashioned pitch right there. That is a power sweep. Fullback is leading as the kick-out guy, and 15 yards. So I'm really impressed with Grunman. I mean, he is not one of those guys that – when he gets first contact, he's still trying to power through for a couple more yards.
10 totes, 71 yards for Isaac Grunman so far, down to 40 seconds left here in the quarter. This could be the final play of the frame. Funk will put Grunman in motion in the backfield. They'll hand it off. Xavier Adamson gets brought down from behind. After a gain of about 8, Carter DeMott was there for the stop, and the clock will continue to tick down. We're down to 20 seconds left in the quarter. Lenox with it at the 28-yard line after the run from Xavier Adamson. I think they're just going to, having broke the huddle yet, and there's 10 seconds left. So Lenox complacent with going. No, they're going to maybe try to get a play off. 3, 2, 1. They do right before the horn, and they'll hand it off with Adamson. I think he got the first, but that's how the quarter will end. We'll see if he did get the first. So he gets to the 25, and that's how the frame ends. 8-zip Lenox leading Bedford here on the KMA video stream online at KMAland.com. Second quarter coming up here in a moment.
When people ask me what my dad does, I still don't have exactly the right answer. This is Sadie, and my dad is Shane from Schaff Ag. I know he takes calls and texts early in the morning and late at night. I know he does research to find the best products at the best prices. And I know he says, I'll get that done for you. But I guess I'm still not sure what all is involved in every aspect of agronomy. But I know my dad does it all. Call Shane at Schaff Ag and see for yourself. 712-520-1333.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream online, KMAland.com. Trevor Maynard, Todd Jacobson with you in this one. It's 8-zip Lenox leading Bedford, and the Tigers have it on the Bedford 25 to start the second quarter. Todd Jacobson, and we talked about it earlier. Bedford and Lenox very successful in the ground game through 2 games and doing it different ways. Lenox, they want to run through you. Bedford trying to run around you.
Yeah, and, Bedford's had 2 good drives. They've just, one negative penalty has negated that second one, but you can really see that Bedford is trying to get their kids outside, power sweeps, jet sweeps. You're going to see some screens, but Lenox they've missed out on a couple of great opportunities to hit some passes downfield, but Grunman is going to be a sore kid tomorrow because he runs hard, and they are going to lean on those Bedford defenders with that big offensive line and ends, and hope to wear out Bedford by the end of the night.
So Lenox has it 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. I felt like that was a pretty fast-moving first quarter. About 18, 20 minutes is what it took, and I'll never complain about that. So Lenox will start this drive, this quarter on the Bedford 25, and Lenox has really been able to make some hay on third down so far, Todd.
Yeah, and they have put themselves in good position. There are no penalties that have put them into a negative play. There is no plays behind the line of scrimmage. They put themselves in a third and short constantly.
Funk goes under center. He'll give it to the big man, Xavier Adamson. He stays on his feet, cuts back upfield. Adamson to the 5. Adamson to the end zone. Touchdown, Lenox from 25 yards out. They take a 14-0 lead.
They've been using, now we talked about how, Grunman has been toting the rock here quite a bit, and they've used him on the wing and actually gave the fullback a cup and used the full.
So here we go. A 2-point try coming up for Lenox after the touchdown run by Adamson. Funk in the shotgun. Hands it off to Grumman. Tries to follow his blockers, and they're going to say he did get in. Makes it 16-0. So, Todd, what have you seen so far that's sticking out to you?
Well, that was a 78-yard, 79-yard drive.
Yes.
And, Lenox right now, the fullback is the one that, Grunman has been getting a lot of the carries, but they're starting to find out, especially in that towards the end of the first quarter. Didn't you notice that, that they started to really utilize that fullback quite a bit?
How about a 12-play? I called it 78, but 70. It was 12 plays and a bunch of yards, nonetheless, for Lenox, and just tried to impose their will here early on. But Bedford's still very much in this.
Oh, they're playing hard, and like I said, this is just a cat and mouse game between Lenox coaching staff has noticed that hey, they're not covering the A gap when we've got Grunman on the wing, and a couple of those dives to the fullback who was by himself in the backfield.
So Lenox will kick it off with Trace Miller. Looks like Gage Godsey and Silas Walston back to return for Bedford. I think for the Bulldogs, you'd love a big special teams play here.
Something to get a little momentum going for your offense.
Early stages of the second quarter. Godsey and Walston almost ran into each other, picking it up at the 5. Walston gets to the outside and gets brought down from up top at about the 16-yard line. That's Jake Cox there to clean things up. They almost want to go for the clothesline.
Good tackle, though. Bedford here, we just said right before that kickoff, it'd be great if they could get a good return and get some momentum, and Lenox was able to pin them back on their own 16-yard line, 17-yard line.
So that'll be where Bedford begins their third drive of the game. The last two have ended in punts. Lenox has had 3 drives. 2 have ended in touchdowns, one of which ended in a punt. We've got 11:47 left here in the first half, and we're going to get a timeout taken by Bedford. Coach Jeremy Nally must have seen something he didn't like, either from Lenox's defense or from Bedford's offense. And Todd, so much of the game of football is in-game adjustments. If you're Jeremy Nally and company, what are some things you're trying to do?
Well, you've only had essentially 2 solid drives, and the one drive that they had a lot of success on was ended when they had a negative play with by not blocking the nose guard or a blitz. So if they can get consistent, close or short first downs, get in that third and short, to get a good drive, you could go into halftime and maybe be down 18-6 or 18-8, and that would carry a lot of momentum because they're going to get the ball back start second half.
Cummings in a very deep pistol. They'll turn around, toss Booker, and they want to go halfback pass. He has a man wide open over the middle field. Shea Purdy hauls it at the 40. Purdy to the 20. Purdy to the house. There's the big play Bedford was looking for. 63 yards on the halfback toss from Logan Booker to Shea Purdy.
And I noticed on the play before, Trevor, that they were starting to run in Bucher, and then he got called back because they already had 8 guys on the field. That is why Coach Nally called a timeout. They wanted to run this play, but his guy that was going to throw it was not on the field.
So here comes the 2-point try, and just like that, if you're Bedford won it, makes it, depending on the 2-point try, back down to a 1-score game, and it shows you can move the ball as well. As Cummings will take the snap in the pistol. Silas Walston in the backfield. Cummings turns around, toss Walston, bobbled it for a moment, trying to get to the edge. He fell down, and he is met just inside the 5-yard line. It looked like it was Jonathan Weaver there to let him know that he's there tonight. But Bedford gets on the board 16-6 here on the KMA video stream online, KMAland.com.
Coaching great John Wooden once said, it's the little details that are vital. Little things make big things happen. Just as in the world of sports, this quote is vital to the work that we do at Hackett Livingston Funeral Home in Shenandoah. We take care of all the details so that you can focus on what is most important, caring for your family and healing. Hackett Livingston Funeral Home, serving all of Southwest Iowa since 1951.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. 16-6, Lenox leading Bedford, but Todd Jacobson a moment ago, the Bulldogs able to go to their bag of tricks.
Yeah, and, as we were saying right before the break there, Trevor, that, Bucher was running on the field because that was, Coach was sending in the play, and that was the pitch pass. And so he called timeout because they already had 8, and that was, talk about catching Lenox sleeping there on defense. They were all concerned about the run and forgot about the one guy that was running down the field.
So it's now 16-6 Lenox. They could not get the 2-point try. And John Jacobson, very much a fan of the music that's on tap here tonight.
This is grade A music in Bedford. Grade A.
It's been fantastic. Now they go line drive kick. It's bobbled by Bedford for a moment. Beck got on. I thought his knee was down when he picked it up, but they're going to let him play through. He spins out of a tackle. Penalty marker comes flying in on the far side. Then he's finally chased out of bounds. That looks like it's probably in the area of holding.
I think you're right. I think he had put his knee down to – I think they're going to kind of talk about it, the referee crew here, or they're just going to discuss the penalty, which was thrown on our side, and the ball went to the other side. So I don't know.
Wonder if they didn't get Duncan Marshall on a hold. There was a lot of grappling going on over here on the side near us.
He might have also – now, he got spun around when he was being tackled, so that could have been a face mask. They might be talking about whether it's a 5 or 15. Yep. I guess we're going to find out here, Trevor.
It's going to be awesome to
personal foul.
Have officials mic'd up, and it is going to be personal fouls on both sides. So that offsets it, and Lenox will get it the 36-yard line. So still good starting field position on this drive for the Tigers.
That was really close to being broke open.
By Trenton Beck, and now Lenox will go to work. Under center is Gabe Funk. Looks to me like it's Kitzman and Grunman, the featured backs in the split back. They'll go to Grunman. Grunman bowls forward, gets brought down, though. Silas Walston, Logan Bucher, Dawson Stream, all there to get hats on them after a gain of a couple.
Those what they're doing is they're really trying to – those are what they call an ISO, which the fullback is coming right through that gap and trying to get to the linebacker and open it up the hole. And the linebackers from Bedford are going to have to really attack the line of scrimmage. That's the adjustment that I would make. And they're going to take –
So an official?
Oh, they're switching the balls out.
Right at midfield with 11:02 left here in the first half. 16-6 Lenox, so go in the I formation. I'll go to the fullback, Kitzman. He gets brought down low. I believe that might have been Dawson Stream again that just latched onto the legs of Kitzman and said, I'm going wherever you're going.
I absolutely am really enjoying watching that kid play because he is probably outsized by 150 pounds. I mean, he is just using his quickness off the ball. He's not trying to overpower. He's right over the center, so he can get a quick jump off the ball, and he's giving Whipple all he can handle up front.
And Coach Jeremy Nally said they were going to have to use their speed here tonight. Now Funk will hand it off to Kitzman. Kitzman gets brought down. Did the ball come out? I think it did. If it did, it came out late. Asher Weed was there, and they're going to say it did not. It looked to me like it popped out, but just enough for a first down. to the 33-yard line for Keegan Kitzman.
That's twice now that Lenox has really gotten away with a fumble that could have turned the tide for Bedford's defense. And
so it's a 1st and 10 for Lenox at the Bedford 33. Funk, again under center, split back. And they'll keep it. Broken play, it looks like, and Funk brought down. Guess who's there? Dawson Stream. Looked like it was Quentin King there to start things, and it's a loss for Lenox. I think it's the first negative play they've had.
And that was just what the doctor ordered. They really needed a play as Lenox is driving again, and they're into Bedford territory, and here comes that quick nose guard who they faked it twice to both running backs. Quarterback kept it, tried to get around the edge, and was tackled for a 2-yard loss.
Now you've got to back it up, though, on 2nd and 3rd down, obviously, for Bedford, as Funk will be in the shotgun, running back on his right hip, and the ball gets by Funk. He's going to have to scramble for it all the way back at the 30. Busted play for sure, and he'll just take a seat on the grass at the 36. That's another backwards play for Lenox, and now it's 3rd and a long, long ways.
There are a lot of advantages, and I hate to keep harping on it, but there are a lot of advantages to putting somebody that is a real pain, a real quick player on the center, because the center's got to focus now on getting that ball back and to a guy who's in the shotgun or pistol, and then he's got to get his hands up and block somebody that's pretty quick. And I don't know if that affected Whipple or not, but you got to think that is affecting. What a great way for the Bedford defense. They're in a great position right now.
So Lenox 3rd and about 21. Funk play action, wants to let it rip, goes downfield to Kitzman, can't haul it in. A flag comes in late at the 30-yard line. We'll see what the call is. The Bedford crowd either is oblivious to the flag or isn't concerned that it's on the Bulldogs. It was just out of the hands of Kitzman.
On the side. It might be a sideline warning, because there was nobody there, and it was the guy on this side. So it might be a sideline. Yeah, it's a sideline warning.
So it's no penalty the first time. And is it second time is, correct?
Second time it will be, yeah.
Okay, that's
it, yep.
So nonetheless, it's an incomplete pass. Another drop pass for Lenox. Thwarts a big play opportunity, and Bedford gets a stop. Lenox went backwards on that.
First punt for Lenox in this game.
They have one other.
Oh, yeah, they did, yep.
But, I mean, you're talking, they had it 1st and 10 at the 33.
Yeah.
And then you have the bad snap that plagued things, and now they've got a 4th and 21. We got a timeout on the field. This is one of many games we're keeping an eye on tonight across KMA land. If you didn't know, we've got a lot of games that we have reporters out and about at. Some of those scores we'll take a look at. Trainer on top of Clarinda, 14-6. Glenwood on top of Abraham Lincoln, 14-0. Underwood in control of St. Albert, 21-7. Harlan, Sergeant Bluff Luton, a state-rated battle in Class 3A. It's 21-14 Harlan in the second quarter. Audubon leads Fremont Mills 14-0. Stanton Essex all over East Union, 30-0. Riverside on top of Mount Air, 14-0. We'll take a full look at those scores at halftime, which will come your way in about 8 minutes and 24 seconds of football. 4th and 21 for Lenox, and they will punt things away with Samson Adams. High snap. He's going to have to keep it. He's got space. Adams along the left side, going to run for the first down. Stays on his feet, falls forward to the 23.
He stepped out of bounds.
They stepped out on the far side, short of the line of gain by about 4 yards.
It's hard to tell if that was a call on
I don't
4th and 28. It's hard to tell if that's a call or if it was actually a ball that hit the ground right in front of him, and he got immediate pressure in his face. So, but boy, was that close. That was close to him getting a first down.
And he did not come short by much. Now Bedford's going to take over on their own 28. They'll work out of a pistol with Cummings. Tossing right side Walston. They'll go reverse to Purdy. Purdy wants to throw, pass deflected. Jonathan Weaver was the only man anywhere near that. So Bedford not pulling any punches early on.
That was a double reverse pass after they had just scored on the last drive on a pitch pass. So that was kind of the counter that Coach Nally wanted to show him, like, hey, we already ran the pitch pass, so let's see if you over pursue that now.
And somebody got a paw on it up front for Lenox, makes it 2nd and 10. They've got two receivers on the right side. Out of the pistol goes Cummings. And he'll fake it, scrambling to the right. He'll just dump it off on the right side. That was caught by Gage Godsey. They're going to say he was out of bounds when he caught it. And that's a play as a coach. It'll drive you nuts.
Right. That, as he was running to his right, he had the option of, if the corner came in to take him, he was just going to toss it out there to the wide receiver on the sideline. But as soon as the wide receiver caught it, he kind of took a step back and was so close to the sideline that he stepped out at the line of scrimmage. So it's 3rd and 10.
So 3rd and 10 for Bedford at their own 28. They've had 2 plays, get nothing for them. 3 receivers on the right. They'll fake the toss to Walston. They want to throw. Cummings instead going to make a play with his legs. Tries to get around a defender. He's got the first down. Shakes off the tackle from Waylon. Cook gets near midfield in a nifty play with the legs from the quarterback, Tristan Cummings, who had only 67 yards on the ground coming in the year. They're actually going to mark him about a yard short. I thought he got him. They're going to say he stepped out.
Yeah, I really thought that he had gotten the first down too. This will be curious as to what they call, because they're right there at close to midfield, and you got 4th and 1. What do you do?
This is,
I think they're going for it.
It's a big play is an understatement. Jeremy Nally's showing some onions early on with a couple of trick plays, and they're going to go in the pistol. Two running backs in the backfield. They got somebody to move up front.
And I think that is going to be a penalty on Lenox because the center's head got hit. Even though Lenox didn't completely cross the line of scrimmage, I think the guy that was over the nose, and I don't want to bring up any names, but the nose guard happened to lean forward and hit helmet to helmet. Good call.
And Todd, how often is that the call on 4th and 1? Say, hey, we're just going to try to see if we can get 5 free yards.
Could do that. I mean, I see that done quite a bit.
So 1st and 10 for Bedford. Cummings will give it to Walston. Walston keeps the legs moving. Gets brought down to the 36-yard line. Looks like Trace Miller was the guy who I'll give credit to with the tackle. 2nd and about 7 or 8 coming up for Bedford.
You can kind of see that Bedford is really having to work for every yard. The touchdown they've gotten was from a trick play. Lennox's defense is as advertised. They are really good.
So 2nd and 8 coming up for Bedford. Cummings will keep it. Tries to spin out of a tackle. Jonathan Weaver won't let him. His helmet comes off, does Weaver, so he'll have to come out for a play. But Cummings had green for a moment, but it's only a 1-yard gain.
I've been talking a lot about Dawson Stream as the nose guard for Bedford. I need to give a lot of credit to Jonathan Weaver, number 13, that's playing linebacker from Lenox, because he is you see number 13 on about every tackle.
Yep. So 3rd and 7 coming up for Bedford at the Lenox 35. They'll hand off Walston. Walston gets shifty. Walston gets some blockers to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Silas Walston, touchdown from 35 out. There's that speed again.
What a play. And right where they ran that was just a dive. It's just an option dive. And right where he took it was where Weaver had just come out as a linebacker. That's his spot. And the linebacker missed the tackle, and then the Bedford just sealed it inside. Great job of blocks.
So Silas Walston with a 3rd down score from 35 yards out. And now Bedford will go for 2. Low snap. Cummings throws over the middle. That was Purdy. He was open, but he slipped on the grass trying to cut the other way. And the 2-point try unsuccessful, but 16-12, Lenox leading Bedford. We got 6:41 left here in the half on the KMA video stream.
The Shore Motor Company in Clarinda to remind you that we are your local Chevrolet, Buick, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Chrysler dealer. With straightforward pricing, transparent trade appraisals, and no finance manager to deal with, we make your purchase the easiest you've ever experienced. That's our promise to you. And with an express lane for quick oil changes open 6 days a week, our service department is sure to impress you as well. Shore Motor Company in Clarinda, proudly supporting local high school sports.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mader, Todd Jacobson with you at 16-12. Lenox leading Bedford. We got 6:41 left here in the half. But Todd, just moments ago, a nice drive for Bedford. They go down the field, capping off with a 35-yard touchdown run by Silas Walston.
This game it's hard to measure it a lot of times, but it's all about momentum. And Lenox was able to ground out 2 long touchdown drives. get those 2-point conversions, 16-0, and it was like, what is Bedford going to do to stop this? One trick play, big play, has totally flipped the game to Bedford's sideline.
And a couple of misfortunes, too, on the Lenox side. They get down into Bedford territory, end up going backwards from there. As now Shea Purdy will line one right down the middle. That's fielded on a hop at the 10 by Cook, and Cook into the open space. Waylon Cook is going to go 20-10. In pursuit is Weed. He can't get him. There's a penalty marker down, though, at the 38-yard line for Lenox.
What?
That's a backbreaker.
If as a former football coach, that drives a coach crazy. He is practically on the 5-yard line, and back here at the 40, a Lenox player blocked a Bedford player in the back.
That is
a spot foul. Personal foul.
Man, that's a tough one if you're Lenox, and if you're Bedford, obviously you enjoy that one.
That was a touchdown. And he was, I am not kidding when I say that he was at the 5.
I mean, that had nothing to do with the
Nobody
play.
is around him. He's running in, and back here at midfield, one of the Lenox players, and I didn't catch the number on that one either, but he hit him from the back, and as they're jogging, this play they're completely out of the play. And now the penalty is from there, so
it's from the 37 is where they spot it. So you're going to kid at the 27.
15 yards from where that happened.
And Todd, I'm sure as a coach too, that's the type of play that makes your hair turn gray.
It's why I've retired, Trevor, as a football coach.
I thought you just wanted to be up here with me. I thought
that
was
too.
Maybe why. So Lenox, after the touchdown, gets wiped off the board. We'll work out of the I formation, it looks like. Again, we've got 6:31 left here in the half, 16-12. They'll go right up the middle. Grunman gets brought down from behind. Nice stop by Silas Walston after a gain of a couple for Grunman at the 30.
And that is another one of those ISOs, and they did have, that time, the fullback was able to get the defensive end. And here they've got, big offensive lineman Dawson Marshall coming downfield. So if it wasn't for the keen skills of Walston,
that's a big play.
Yeah, that is a touchdown that he saved right there.
2nd and 7. Again, Lenox will go to work on the I formation. They've shown a couple of different looks tonight, and they'll hand it off up the middle. Kitzman keeps the line moving, and the hog mollies up front for Lenox help him a little bit. A gain of about 4.
Again, that is exactly what Lenox wants on every drive, is to have the opportunity to have a 3rd and short. So they've got a 3rd and 3 after that mush where they got 3 yards.
So 3rd and short coming up for Lenox. 5:23 left here in the half. 16-12 they lead. Bedford on a 12-0 stretch. And we'll get the ball to start the second half. They'll again hand off Kitzman. Kitzman, though, met by a pack of Bulldogs. Braden Daly was in there. Looks like Silas Walston as well. Sets up 3rd and short.
Yeah, 4th and short.
4th and short, yep.
Yeah, so now for Lenox, they're not quite at midfield, but this is definitely a spot where, and they're going to call for a measurement. It's going to be that close.
It looks from here like it's.
You got a better angle than I do.
About a yard. Sure, yeah, I do have a little bit better angle. But we'll see as they pull it out. And the Lenox side obviously thinking they've got it. Oh, how about the nose of the football? If even that. Could you get an index card in there even? It's 4th and really short.
I wouldn't. I'm guessing this is going to be a quarterback sneak.
Yeah. Seems like a good
I think
call.
With the offensive line that you have, just get under center and just go.
So the chain gang is showing 1st down. The scoreboard's showing 4th down, and now they'll correct it. Okay.
They'll fix it.
I was like, I'm pretty sure the official said that was well short. Well, not well short, but short. And now Funk will go under center in the I formation, a 4th and 1, and they will hand it off. Grunman, I don't know that he got it. He is met in the backfield.
On the spot.
Logan Bucher was there. Dawson Stream again, and yeah, it's going to depend on the spot. And They give him a really generous spot.
They did. I don't know. I don't know about that spot, Trevor. That was very favorable for the visitors over there.
I'm not. It looked like, at least from up here, he didn't get it. And I mean, by that spot, you're saying he got it by a good yard and a half. And if he got it, he did not get it by a yard or yard and a half. But nonetheless, Lenox keeps the drive alive. Here's a toss left side. Grumman, look like he bobbled it for a moment. Falls forward to the 38 and makes it second manageable. Into Bulldog territory is Lenox.
Really impressed by just, they're outsized. The Bedford Bulldog defense is outsized, and Lenox is just doing the best they can to just keep leaning on that smaller defensive line. But, boy, are they flying around. They are really getting hats to the ball. And you look up, and it's still 2nd and 6.
Yep.
I mean, they still got 4 yards.
So 2nd and 6 coming up at the 38. Funk will go split back, and they'll go up the middle. Kitzman to the house. And Keegan Kitzman scores from 38 yards out. And the 4th down conversion looms large for Lenox.
Again, that's kind of what an ISO where it's split backs, and Kitzman, they went opposite of Grumman, so he had to be the lead back this time. Got on the linebacker, and the linebackers weren't filling, and it seemed like it was going to happen at some point. I mean, they were probably going to bust one, but boy, he hit that hole hard.
So a 38-yard touchdown from Keegan Kitzman makes it 22-12. And they will go for 2. Funk in the shotgun. And Funk will keep it. Gets to the outside, but gets brought down right at the line of game. They're going to say he got in with the second effort. Quentin King wrapped him up, but Gabe Funk successful. And it's 24-12. And Todd Jacobson, that 4th down play.
That was big.
It's a big one. It goes the way of Lenox. And unfortunately, if you're Bedford, chance to get off the field instead. Deficit back up to 12.
Yep, that was definitely a chance to, and at midfield. I mean, you would have gotten the ball. Bedford would have gotten the ball 1st and 10 at midfield. And instead, and 3 plays later, Lenox is popping one for a touchdown. So, big moment. You can turn this around. Again, like we said before, it'd be a good chance to get a really good return, give yourself some favorable field position, and try to get a score in before halftime.
So the 38-yard touchdown from Keegan Kitzman makes it 24-12, 3:45 left here in the half. And Todd, if you're Bedford, you got a chance to double up here, get the ball to start second half.
Yeah, if you can find a way to get a score in before half, and then you get it because they deferred, you get it to start the half.
You got to do something here in the next 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Trace Miller will kick off. Looks like they've got Clay Savage and Gage Godsey back to return. And nice kick by Miller. Godsey fields at the 3. Godsey cutting to the right, trying to follow his blocker. Stays on his feet, gets up midfield. And will be brought down the 24-yard line, and that was really close to breaking. That'll be where Bedford begins their next drive.
Godsey, he's a senior wide receiver, and we've seen him with the ball in his hands a couple times. He's got some speed. He's almost broke that kickoff return.
If you're just tuning in, Lenox had a 16-0 lead. Bedford bowed back out to 16-12. Lenox converted on 4th and short at midfield moments ago, then scored with a 38-yard run by Keegan Kitzman to make it 24-12. Now Bedford trying to battle back. Here's Cummings. Will hand off Walston. Walston, he's got to be careful the way he held the ball. Gets brought down from behind by Keegan Kitzman for a gain of about maybe 2 yards.
That was the exact same play that they just scored on before, where I'd like to see him hit the hole a lot harder. That way he kind of hesitated once he got towards the line of scrimmage. It gave the defensive line at least time to come across and tackle him after a 1-yard gain.
So 2nd and 9 coming up for the Bedford offense here. 3 minutes left in the half. Cummings, low snap. They'll hand it off to, that's Carter DeMott, his first toe to the game, and he bowls forward to the 33-yard line. Sets up 3rd and manageable for the Bulldogs.
The snaps
third about 3.
Really caused a little bit of a disruption in the timing of a lot of Bedford's plays. But Cummings was able to bring that one up, and that was just a fullback dive. And Bedford has a 3rd and short. That's exactly where you want to be.
So 3rd and 2 from the 32. Under 3 left here in the half. 2:29 to be exact. Cummings, 2 running backs in the backfield. They'll hand off Walston. Walston gets met and doesn't get anything out of that. Jonathan Weaver again there for the stop. Actually goes back a little bit, does Walston. And I wonder if the punt team will come out for Bedford.
I think they're going to kind of wait, run this clock down. At this point, you'd have, if you take a timeout right before the end of the 35-second clock, Lenox will have the ball after the punt return with about minute 15, minute 20 left.
So Bedford's drive comes up empty, and they've got a 4th and about 3 on their own 31-yard line. Yeah, they're going to milk this play clock all the way down to 5 seconds right now, and Coach Jeremy Nally will take the timeout, and we have 1:31 left here in the half. Lenox, I believe, have 2 timeouts remaining, but we haven't seen them have much success throwing tonight. They've had the open looks, they just haven't been able to convert them.
If you're coaching that defense from Bedford, that's the one thing.
Yep. Don't want a big play.
Don't let nothing over your head. Don't get caught with your eyes in the backfield and let something. They've been very close to hitting a couple of those pass plays. Lenox has.
Yeah, right now if you're Bedford, going in down 12 at the half isn't the worst thing in the world. Last thing you want is a big play that 1 gives Lenox momentum going into the break, and 2 turns the 12-point hole into say 18 or 20. And with the way Lenox can move the ball as well, Todd, 3-4 yards a clip, possessions could be hard to come by in the second half as well if Lenox would like them to. So Shea Purdy will punt as the Bedford crowd begins to stomp. Anything's better than jump around as Purdy will. I'm an Iowa fan. I am too. I can't give Wisconsin credit for anything. Here's the punt by Purdy. Nobody back to field it for Lenox, and that is a good punt. Maybe too good of a punt. It is too good of a punt.
Too good.
And it'll be a touchback for Lenox. So they're going to have a little under 90 seconds. We're going to make it minute 21 to be exact. And they've got the pigskin on their own 15-yard line. See what they do here.
I'll be curious as to if Lenox, maybe run. I wouldn't pass on first down. I'd run it once and then try to catch them, keeping their eyes on the run game on second down, maybe try to catch one over the top.
Funk out of the I formation, and they're going to throw on first down, or at least they want to. Funk looking downfield, pump fakes, gets the defender to leave his feet. Flag comes in. And Funk will go out of bounds to the 23-yard line. That was on the far side away from the play.
That will be coming back.
The Lenox offensive line trying to plead their case, but to no avail.
That's going to be holding, and from the spot of that flag, that's going to put the ball inside the 5-yard line, possibly at the 3.
Does that change the way you attack this drive with just over a minute left in the half? Or
You have the lead, and Bedford has got, if I remember right, 1 timeout left. So, essentially you can drain out the clock. Just a couple of those runs where you can get 3-4 yards and get it out of there. But they're still talking about this penalty.
Yeah, the scoreboard showed it too, but they have one because they called the timeout right before the halfback pass touchdown and then right before the punt as well.
Personal foul on Lenox. That's still a half the distance from the flag, so it will put the ball inside the 5, probably
4.5.
Yeah.
So it's going to be first and a long, long ways to go for Lenox with.
So it's from the first down marker, so it'll be at the 7.
A minute 13 left here in the half. 24-12 advantage Tigers here in the 89th rousing rendition of the back 40 battle. They've got a trophy on the line here tonight. Winner of this one takes it home. It's gone to Lenox the last 3 years. Funk out of the I formation, wants to throw from his own end zone. Pocket collapsing around him, takes a shot downfield. It's deflected away by Gage Godsey. They wanted to go to Samson Adams, and Godsey swats that one away.
Double move by both receivers where they faked doing, and great job by the DBs, the secondary, the three guys back here in the secondary from Bedford, because they did not come up and bite on the double move. They stayed and ran with those receivers. That was just a two receiver route from Lenox as they were both running posts right down the field, and good job by Bedford of staying back.
We've got 1:08 left here in the half. 2nd and 10 coming up for Lenox. Funk will go under center this time, and they will run it up the middle with Kitzman, who stays on his feet, trying to be chased down by Godsey, and Godsey will bring him down about the 34, but a big play there moves the chains. That's one time that I think if you don't get any gain on that, if you're Lenox, you're probably a little more conservative on 3rd down, but now you can maybe open the playbook a little bit.
And I really thought they might try that early because Bedford had moved some of their defenders. Bedford had not been playing with a safety, and now they had, trying to prevent that pass play. And I thought maybe they'd try to run the ball earlier. But on that down, here they are back at their own 33-yard line.
148 yards rushing for Lenox in this half. Here's a toss left side. Grumman flag comes in from the far side. He falls down near the 39, but a penalty marker at the 32. And this looks like another one that is coming back. And Todd, we've seen lately the penalties have really hurt Lenox.
They're having a darndest time trying to block Bryson Ewert, number 40 from Bedford, because if that's on him, the personal foul by throwing him over here was the Lenox kid throwing him over here. And now if this is on this end, that's a hold or a personal foul on them trying to block Ewert from Bedford.
Bryson Ewert, I had to make sure. Yeah, no, I had to make sure how to pronounce that too. But Bryson Ewert, sophomore, not a real big kid, but got kind of a tall, lanky frame. And sometimes when you're a lineman and a big guy moving, those can be the guys that can be really hard to block just because they can change levels.
Chop block below the waist on Lenox.
And now with 57 seconds left in the half, if you're Coach Michael Nardini running the offense for Lenox, or are you complacent with just going into the half up 12?
Yeah, run the ball. And you do have the number, so there's still a chance with the running backs that between Kitzman and Grunman, they have a chance to break one.
1st and 18, they go Kitzman. He is met, and Dawson Stream gets him from behind. We've said that name a lot tonight defensively. Give him about a yard, maybe 2. But it's going to be second and a long ways to go. The clock will continue to run down in the second quarter. 40 seconds remaining. Lenox with it on their own 27, up 24-12. Split back formation. Funk, play action. Takes a shot over the middle. It is hauled in. What a grab by Isaac Grumman. Had to come back to it. Down to the 26. And see if Lenox burns the timeout. They're going to move quickly upfield.
They're talking about spiking it and killing it here to save a timeout. What a catch.
Down under 20 seconds to go. Funk, they got to move quickly, and they'll clock it with 14.6 seconds to go. That's a big snag. He had to come back to that one. It was defended well.
It was, and he did. That was a route out of the backfield, so he came through the line of scrimmage and ran right down the middle of the field.
So chalk that up as what I've got is a gain of 27, and they've got it 2nd and 10 now on the Bedford 26. 14.6 seconds to go in the half. Scoreboard showing 2 timeouts left for the Tigers. Funk will work out of an empty shotgun, 2 receivers on each side. Low snap, looking left, takes a shot downfield to Grunman again. It was well over his head. Braden Daly there in coverage, and we've got 8.5 ticks remaining now. So with that timeout, maybe time for 2 plays.
I would think that they would run all their routes to the end zone. And with the athletes that they have running these routes, you've got Grunman.
Yep.
Weaver is one of the wide receivers as well. Kitzman's your other guy. If you can just get it up there, if that young freshman quarterback, Funk, can get that ball down there in the end zone, there's a good chance that you're going to complete this with 8 seconds left.
So we got 8 seconds left in the half. Lenox with it on the Bedford 26-yard line. Funk in the shotgun. He's got Weaver and Waylon Cook on his right. Grunman on the left side. Pressure coming. Funk checks down on the right side. It's hauled in by Cook. He's got to either get down or get out. He gets down with 1.5 seconds to go, and Coach Michael Nardini's going to call a timeout.
He was out of bounds.
No, okay. Yeah,
and he called timeout. So
either way, you've only got 1.5 seconds, so they're going to spot it at the 14. And Lenox is going to get one play to try to add to their lead after the catch by Waylon Cook moves them a little bit closer. And obviously in the 8-man realm, not a very strong kicking game really, from anybody. So
emotions are high on both sidelines because I just noticed that they were trying to get a timeout a couple times on the Lenox sideline. It did not get one, and the coaching staff was kind of letting the side judge on their sideline hear about it, and he kind of turned around and gave him the you need to watch it.
Off.
Yeah.
What is that like as a coach when you get that?
It's a little frustrating because you're kind of watching the play happen, and then as you run down there, you're the one that really has to get down there and call that, and you're hoping that the side judge is able to hear you. But when as somebody who's been through this before, after going through practices and at games, you get into about game 3 or 4, I never really had much of a voice. So you're kind of dependent on some of the other guys to be able to get their attention.
So it's going to be a first down, but it's 1st and 10, but it might as well be 1st and goal for Lenox. So only 1 second left, 2 seconds left in the half. This will be the final play of the frame, and Lenox will try to add to their lead again, 24-12.
Grunman is by himself. Now he's in the backfield.
Funk's going to go under center. 2 receivers to the right, Cook and Weaver. Looking right, they'll dump it off to Grunman, and he puts it on the ground.
Touchdown.
They're going to rule it incomplete. Man,
he had a touchdown.
Was a touchdown.
Great call. That was a great call. That was a screen pass to the wide side, and they had nothing but green grass.
And Todd Jacobson, just like Tony Romo, called it, but Isaac Grunman couldn't haul it in. And another missed opportunity for Lenox. Todd, I believe that's the 2nd touchdown they've left off the board with drop passes.
And for Bedford, you got to feel really good about the fact that you were able to come out, stopping that last drive, and you will get the ball to start the second half. So if they can put together a drive and get a score on, make it really put a lot of pressure on that Lenox sideline in the second half.
So it's 24-12, Lenox at the break of this back 40 battle here in Bedford. We'll take a break. Halftime coverage coming up here in a moment on the KMA video stream.
America is choosing to be a healthier nation. That's why so many people choose a Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart pharmacies are locally owned and offer a full range of vitamins, non-prescription medicines, cold remedies, and convenient items for you and your family. And when it comes time to have a prescription filled, you can always count on your Health Mart family pharmacy to do it right. Take your next prescription to Oakland Pharmacy in Oakland, a locally owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Since 1892, Malvern Bank has been building community from 404 Main Street in Malvern, Iowa. For generations, Malvern Bank has been serving local businesses, families, and farms to help them achieve their goals in every step of their lives. From saving for college to planning for retirement and everything in between, Malvern Bank is your full-service community bank. Call, click, or stop in today to apply for an account, loan, or credit card. Malvern Bank, we build community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mader, Todd Jacobson with you here tonight. It has been a fun one in Taylor County. Lenox leading their Pride of Iowa Conference foe Bedford 24-12. And Todd, both teams want to do a different style so far tonight.
Yeah, and I've been really impressed with both teams because here you've got 2 coaching staffs that know each other pretty well. And Lenox came in after having, I would say a pretty successful season last year. Had a lot of guys coming back, especially up front. And Bedford came into this game. They were 0-6 last year, but started the season 2-0, having 2 big wins, having over 50 points and 66 points to start their season. And both teams, especially Lenox, was able to kind of get their ground game going early, 2 early touchdowns, but then that big pitch pass that Bedford had in the second quarter, was able to switch momentum. And we've got ourselves a battle between these two teams. On forward here is the Taylor Bowl between Lenox and Bedford.
I love the 89th battle between these two schools, at least according to the Seymour Scores Project. Bedford has a 328-7 drive. Lenox up to 7 plays, 55 yards to down the score. They get a stop. They go back down. They score again. That you mentioned the big running back pass from Logan Booker to Shea Purdy. Got it to 16-6. Bedford gets a stop. Silas Walston gets a big score, 16-12. I think right now, Todd, if this result stands a turning point in the game, we'll look back to. I know we still have another half of football left. Fourth near midfield, tech play at the line of scrimmage. Looked like maybe Bedford got the stop. They gave Lenox a first down. 2 plays later, Keegan Kitts is in the zone from 30 to push it to a 2-score lead.
Yeah, we really thought that the way Bedford was playing defense, they were able to get that fourth down stop, and the little breaks that go your way sometimes end up being the difference. And for Lenox to be able to get that as a first down, you could see that their sideline, everybody on their sideline and in the stands was really fired up that they were able to convert that, and you could tell that there was just one small mistake. Somebody didn't hit their gap, and Lenox took advantage of it with that long touchdown run right before halftime.
Lenox, I've got 198 total yards of offense, 159 of which have come on the ground. Isaac Grunman leads them. He's got 14 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. While Bedford, the big pass play from Shea Purdy, or from Booker to Shea Purdy. They've got 70 total yards passing, and how about is I add that up, about 68, 76, 78 yards on the ground. It's a little more balanced. A lot of that passing on one play. We're at half here at Bedford. We're at 24-12 next leading. We're going to step aside a little bit. When we come back, we'll take us around the area. But meantime, we're going to play a recorded interview with Sydney alum Noah Jorgensen, who's off a fine cross-country season at Central College. That's on the way in just a moment from Bedford.
Welcome back on Upon for the review. We are we're catching up with a former KMA land athlete right now at the collegiate level. We're going to be doing this a little more frequently throughout the year. Upon for the review, I tried to keep up with every single KMA athlete single night. That just got a little bit laborious. Focus on certain athletes as they pop up throughout the year. And certainly one that has recently popped up is Noah Jorgensen from Sydney originally. Now it's Central.
Which was nice. But and then in track we had an indoor season and outdoor season. So I know a lot of people from other divisions didn't have that opportunity, so I was just blessed to have that. And I think I grew a lot as a runner and as an athlete and participating in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know you were the Newcomer of the Year award winner there at Central. So tell me about that. Kind of obviously you did good things. What were some highlights from your freshman year, and what kind of led to you being the Newcomer of the Year?
I would say in cross country, conference is definitely a special one. I like to say that I can, when it matters, I'm going to be there, hopefully. That's my goal for anything. So I definitely made sure to show up there, and I felt really good with that performance. And that's probably the first 8K where, college-level cross-country 8K, where I felt really good and smooth. And then in track, I would say the greatest race I felt was at Loris. I had an 800 where I ran my PR. It was 152, and I was racing against the number one ranked guy in the nation, Mike Jasa, who ended up winning the national championship at the D3 level in the 800. I felt really smooth there, and last 100 he caught me, but it was definitely a really cool race, and I was really, really hyped about that. But those are probably – and then conference for outdoor was fun. It was a challenge, and I didn't do my greatest, but, I was running 5 races over a 2-day period, so I was proud of myself for just being able to compete that. It was still decent, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations on all of that. I know when you mentioned this, how you go up to an 8K. It's a longer distance, and that's kind of the progression of cross country. From junior high to high school to college, and it just gets longer and longer. So, what kind of adjustments did you have to make in order to prepare yourself for that?
So from a training standpoint, higher mileage. So like right now I'm doing like 60 to 65 miles per week, which is honestly pretty low, but I'm still considering myself more of a mid-distance guy than a full-on long-distance guy. So from a training standpoint, it changes. And then from like a racing standpoint, it also changes. In high school in a 5K, I could stay pretty tense and like competitive the entire time. But at 8K, you have to like really, really, really focus on relaxing, at least through the first half of it. And if you're not relaxed through the first half, it's going to be a rough second half. So I guess even last week and what I'm going to continue to do throughout the season is staying relaxed the first half and then hopefully making a couple moves and surging here and there and then hopefully finishing well.
Yeah,
that way.
Right, the length of that, the additional length of that in cross country. How do you feel? Did that help you out in track at all? I mean, in terms of, just I guess I'll let you just go from there. Did that help you out?
Yeah, you have to build a base for track. So I think building a base so where I'm aerobically fit in terms of like being able to finish the last 200 of an 800 where I'm not breathing super heavy and I'm and then from like I guess in high school I was more of just an 800 guy. I didn't run very many miles and 2 miles. In college it's 3K, 15, and then the mile indoor. But it helped me with those longer races so I could compete well on those as the indoor season turned into the outdoor season.
Yeah. Talking today with Noah Jorgensen, former Sydney standout, now at Central College in his sophomore year, and already one race in the books there. Noah, you had a 6,000-meter campus course, the Central Dutch Invitational. So the home meet, I think it was this past Friday evening, and you were the winner of that. Your team went 1 through 4. But you, again, were the winner, 1956 something, but you were the winner of that one. What was that race like? And, obviously it's good to start your sophomore year with a win.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I'm super duper excited, mainly just for our team. Our team's going to, I think we're going to surprise some people this year. And we packed up really, really well early. And our spread between 1 through 4, I think it was 20 or 25 seconds. It was really, really close, and that's what you want to see, especially early, because if you can do it early, you can do it late. So I'm hoping as we progress and we switch to an 8K where it's a little longer, we can continue to pack up, and that'll really help us when we start competing against other teams.
Mm-hmm. One of the guys in that top 4, and actually the 4 guy was is freshman Randy Jimenez, who we covered pretty extensively from Southeast Warren. He was in the Pride of Iowa Conference. That was a kid that last year didn't lose a single race, had a really strong finish all the way up to that state cross-country meet. Tell me about Randy and what you're seeing with him, a young freshman already making waves, kind of like you did early last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid that's really, really tough and is willing to do whatever it takes and work hard, and I really appreciate that from anyone who wants to do that in cross country or running, because it's not always the funnest thing to do. But he reminds me of what I was like last year, and he's gonna make some adjustments, switch into 8K, and then he's gonna really succeed later in season, I'm for sure. And I hope he can really perform well, because we need him at the end of the day. And if he can, we're going to be a really, really good team. He's going to be a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, an additional meet coming up here this weekend, Les Duke Invitational in Grinnell. What can you tell us about that one?
I think it's on a golf course, so they say it's rolling hills. It's going to be the full 8K, so we're going to have to adjust to that. And Wartburg is going to be there, so they're going to have their studs there. So it'll give us a taste of what conference cross and meets to come will be like, and it'll those guys are going to go out fast, so we're going to have to figure out a way to stay in a pack and then make some moves later in the race and not go super duper hard early in the race and die. So
yeah,
that'll be good.
Yes, short, long-term goals. What are you trying to get out of this cross-country season?
For cross country, I just want to be. So last year I think it was 17th or 18th at the conference meet, and that's like they the top 15 is all conference. So my goal is to be top 15 and for conference cross, so then it'd be all conference. And then looking forward even further to track and stuff, I have some really, really big goals. I want to say I'm a track runner at heart. That's what I love to do. So yeah.
Yeah. What are those
goals? Well, I want to break 150 in the 800. I went from 157 to 152 last year, so that's a pretty good trajectory.
Yeah.
But it gets a little harder once you get down there. And then in the mile, I want to break like 4:15-ish indoor, and then outdoor they changed to the 1500, and I think like 3:52 or 3:54 are my goals. I got to write them down. I need to do that. That's one thing I do need to do.
That's all right. Well, we appreciate you kind of working them through your head with us here, and we appreciate your time this morning. Noah, congrats on the success you've been having, and we wish nothing but the best for you here as you move throughout your sophomore year, all right?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Once again, that is Noah Jorgensen catching up with a former KMA lander today. We're going to be doing that, as I said, a lot more here throughout the year. It just got a little too laborious. My wife and kids want to spend some time with me for me to do that every single night and try to run through and find every single former KMA lander. So we will be talking with plenty of them and keeping up to date on some of the top athletes formerly from KMA land doing big things there at the next level. All right, upon further review continues on, but we've got markets coming up.
HawkeyeFord.com. It's where you'll find a complete selection of pre-owned cars and trucks. It's also where you can estimate your trade-in value and receive a no-hassle quote. Since 1988, Hawkeye Ford has been offering a high level of customer service and a commitment to making the process of buying your vehicle an enjoyable one. They strive to deliver 100% satisfaction every time you visit their location on Highway 34 east of Red Oak or on their 24/7 location, HawkeyeFord.com.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson with you. We're at the break here in Bedford, 24-6. Lenox leading this back 40 battle. It's been a fun one up to this point. Looking forward to the second half. This is one of many games we're keeping an eye on throughout KMA land tonight. Other ones include Atlantic and Shenandoah in Atlantic. We take a look at that one. It's 21-7 Atlantic in the third quarter. The Trojans trying to get their first win of the year. Trainer on top, Clarinda 13-6. Nottoway Valley leading Red Oak 6-0. Glenwood all over Abraham Lincoln 27-0. Lewis Central leading Norwalk 14-0. Underwood, the number one team in our KMA A1A 2A power rankings, 55-7 over St. Albert in the second quarter. Harlan on top of Sergeant Bluff Luton in a shootout 28-26. Earlham in control of Sydney 35-0. Ottoman leading FM 28-12. East Mills over Griswold 49-0. Stanton Essex in control of East Union 44-0. Murray leading Lamoni 18-2. Riverside in control of Mount Air 29-6. Tri-Center leading Missouri Valley 48-14. Southwest Valley on top of HSTW 7-6. Logan Magnolia leading Westwood 22-0. And then in Missouri, East Atchison on top of Southold 26-0. Are the number one, number two state-ranked battle in 8-man action at Stanberry over King City 14-8. And then in Nebraska, Lord Central Catholic all over Johnson Brock right now, 28-8. Todd Jacobson, as I read those scores, anything stick out to you?
The Lenox or the Shenandoah, they really had a nice win last week with that big win over Nottoway Valley, and I was really thinking with Ty Ratliff coaching that team that the way they were throwing the ball around that they'd had some success today. And Atlantic had a tough row so far.
Yes.
Being down 0-2, and they had a lot of starters from last year's playoff team that lost to West Marshall that they had to replace. And so that one kind of stood out for me. That one's an early one that.
Bedford gets the ball to start the second half here. It's out as Lenox gets ready to kick things off. What are you looking for?
Well, I did happen to notice that Bedford is going to be without one of their key starters here in the second half as Logan Beecher does not have his helmet. So the guys were kind of dabbing him up a little bit just right here. I'm assuming that he is not going to be able to come back in the game. So Bedford, we'll see how they adjust, and if they can put together a way to get a score on this first drive, that would be huge.
Here's Trace Miller set to kick things off for Lenox, and we're underway in the second half. This back 40 battle, Gage Godsey fields it at the 2. He cuts up the middle, gets through the hole, and then is brought down at the 27-yard line. Duncan Marshall there to make the initial contact, but Godsey, man, he's been really close to breaking the last two. And we start the third at the Bedford 27-yard line. Todd mentioned Logan Bucher, standout running back for the Bulldogs.
He also had that touchdown pass, that first touchdown pass. So
not out there to start the second half. They do have Silas Walston out there. Cummings will go empty backfield. Carter DeMott flanked down the right side along with Shea Purdy. They'll put DeMott in motion. They keep it with him, and he'll move up the middle back for a couple yards, up north of the 30 to the 31. Second carry of the game for Carter DeMott.
That is the slot receivers. They go into twins on both sides. That's an empty backfield. And as he goes in motion, that is not a read by the quarterback. They're just trying to catch the edge. But that defensive end from Lenox was able to get upfield and force him back. But that still is a good positive play for Bedford on first down.
So 2nd and 6 coming up for Bedford. That's what you want to just, set up 3rd and short. Another positive play on 2nd down would be ideal. Cummings out of the shotgun. Puts DeMott in motion. Wants to throw. Goes over the middle. He's got a man wide open. He can't quite get it to him. That was Asher Weed. Just let him a little too much, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Boy, he had 2 receivers. The backside receiver, Weed, was running that post. And if he could have, he just led him way too far. But that is definitely one, if you're the coaching staff, put a little mark down next to it because he had good protection. That's a good call on 2nd and 7 when you're looking at the Lenox defense. Those linebackers are really flowing hard to the line of scrimmage.
So it's 3rd and about 6 or 7 coming up for Bedford in the pistol. Big play here. Pressure coming. They'll dump the screen off. It's caught and then upended is Gage Godsey. With those Waylon Cook there for the first hit.
Yeah, Godfried had
mark him down, lost a yard.
Yeah, I had so Cook was one of the first guys that diagnosed that middle screen and was able to come in and was playing out here at outside linebacker. So good diagnosis and get in there and stop that screen pass.
So Bedford's first drive of the half ends in a punt, and Shea Purdy boots it away. Isaac Grumman will back away from it. It takes a Bedford bounce. He's had a couple of those tonight.
Really impressed with, that's the football coach coming out, that if you can, field position is everything in football. And to be able to just drill that one, and that had height, and he put it right out of bounds. He angled it out of bounds at the 5.
So Lenox going to have to go the length of the field. They already did that once tonight. They went 78 yards earlier on in the game. And Todd, this kind of feels like a make-or-break drive. If you're Lenox and you can get a long 75-yard drive and cap it off with a touchdown, the hill gets really steep for Bedford. For Bedford, you get to stop here, maybe turn field position a little bit, still very much in this. Funk under center, hands it off. The big man, Kitzman, keeps the legs turning up towards the 10. I'll mark him down to about the 9. That was Carter DeMott in there on the stop.
But the way Lenox wants to play this game, that is exactly what they want. That is a grinded-out 5-yard gain with a fullback dive on first down.
It sets up 2nd and 5 coming up for Lenox. Their first possession of the second half, under 10 left here in the 3rd, as the Mosquitoes are out and about here in Bedford tonight. 2nd and 5 coming up. Funk will work under center, split back. Hand it off Kitzman. He gets a running start and just keeps on bowling forward. And Keegan Kitzman to the 23-yard line, give him a gain of about 14.
Yeah, that is a clinic on how to run an ISO.
Yeah, when he gets downhill, he is tough to stop. Now we're going to get a timeout on the field. Maybe an official timeout. It'll be a first down for Lenox. Again, their first drive of the second half. We've got 9:35 left here in the 3rd. The Tigers with a 1st and 10 on their own 23-yard line. Funk will go under center. They're split back. Looks like Grumman and Kitzman back there. They'll fake it, then they go to Grumman. Spins out of a tackle, breaks loose. Isaac Grumman to the 40, to the 20, to the 10. Isaac Grumman to the house from 57 out, and that's exactly what Lenox needed and Bedford did not want.
That is a fullback trap out of a split backs. They faked the pitch one way, underhand, handoff, and Grumman did the rest.
Isaac Grunman from 57 out pushes this to a 30-12 lead. We'll have an officials timeout. Grunman is second scorer of the night. Makes it 30-12. Lenox in control of Bedford here early on in the second half. And Bedford had an opportunity to start the frame, but they went 3 and out, and then Lenox able to capitalize with the big run from Isaac Grunman. And now we've got the Lenox. Yeah, Bedford. Okay, it was hiding. It was kind of shielded behind the Bedford players on the field as the Lenox group will come to a knee.
That is a cramp. He's already trying to work it out of him. That happened to be Godsey.
Yep, Gage Godsey who comes
who
up.
was trying to run down. He was the one that was working hard to try to run down Grudman. But again, like I was saying before the mosquitoes attacked me right there, was that they fake the pitch and try to get the linebackers. That is a great play to run. That's the first time they've run that play. So that obviously was something that they had talked about at halftime, that if we can fake the pitch and get those linebackers completely flowing hard, and that's an underhand handoff, an inside handoff to the backside running back.
Funk throws on the 2-point try. It's incomplete. Can't be hauled in by Grunman, but it's 30-12 here early on in the second half from Bedford on the KMA video stream online at KMAland.
Many businesses talk about service, but at Rogers Pharmacy, it's not just talk, setting them apart from the big box stores. They're a full-service pharmacy where you can not only fill prescriptions, but they also carry an impressive line of medical equipment to meet all of your needs. So whether you need oxygen, CPAP, BiPAP, lift chairs, or diabetic shoes, Rogers Pharmacy has them all. Let their family serve your family. The full-service, family-owned, independent Rogers Pharmacy, located in Tarkio, Mound City, Maryville, and St. Joe. Visit rogersrx.com.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson with you. 30-12. Lenox leading Bedford. And Todd, I think this is a really big drive for Bedford. Just get some type of points and momentum on the board.
This is a very dangerous time. And there are different moments that we've picked during the game thus far where we're like, hey, this is kind of a big play. And the fourth down right there in that second quarter was a big play. That drive when they just went 75 yards. No, this is a big drive for Bedford.
So Trace Miller will kick off for Lenox, and he straight toes it away. Walston will field it at the 1. They'll let him play through. Walston stiff arms out of a tackle, and then is brought down by a launching Waylon Cook at just around the 20-yard line. We'll see where they actually spot it. Bedford need to get some type of momentum here offensively, as they will start this one on their own 20.
I almost feel like Bedford has got to open up their game a little bit and start throwing it. Lenox right now is at the point where they are loading up everybody towards the line of scrimmage, and Bedford's got the receivers. Cummings is a good quarterback.
He'll work out of the shotgun, empty backfield, and this first snap, and he'll put a man in motion. It's Carter DeMont. Fakes a toss to him, pressure coming off the edge. Lets one rip over the middle. It's intercepted. Waylon Cook there, and then brought down from behind by Asher Weed, who was trying to play the ball, but Waylon Cook snags the pick. Some extracurriculars late, and
we talked about how this is the battle for the Taylor County battle, the back 40 battle, and we've got a lot of emotions.
These are two teams where I would say there's a lot of respect, but also when it comes to competition, probably not a lot of love lost either. They share a wrestling program together that's had some success. But Lenox going to take over on their own on the Bedford 30 after the interception by Waylon Cook.
Was that the first turnover of the game? Yeah.
Now Funk will go under center. He hands off Kitzman. Breaks out of a tackle, falls forward. He is not a fun guy to bring down, and that was, I believe, Quentin King that was the first one there to make contact.
If you are just an observer and you're watching the running backs, Grunman and Kitzman, and I mean, they've had, and then Adamson, those three guys, they absolutely attack the line of scrimmage. They are not gauging where they need to go. They are just attacking. And it's hard to try to come up there, and they are getting 3, 4, 5 yards a crack right now.
There's the 40-second run play of the night for Lenox, and Xavier Adamson stays on his feet inside the 10 before being brought down. That'll be a gain of about 11. They're now over 250 yards rushing on the night. See if they spot him at the 8 or the 9, but
Lenox is they are the more physical football team. They've got the most powerful running backs, and they are just now leaning on that defense of Bedford and wearing them out. They're able to get 5, 10 yards now per pop.
So it's going to be 1st and goal for Lenox at the Bedford 8-yard line. There's a toss left side. Waylon Cook wanting to get on the action. He's a little shiftier, but gets brought down for a loss. We'll see where they spot it. Looks like it's going to be just outside the 10-yard line.
That's his first carry, and you can tell that he does not get – he's not like those other three that they catch that, they get the ball, and they are headed north and south. There is no side shuffling, and but a good play by Bedford. Let's see if they can get a hold here. That would be huge for their momentum.
They are going to give Cook about a yard. Yeah, the interception a moment ago. Now Funk will keep it on the right side. Funk follows his blocker, stays on his feet, lunges for the end zone. Was he in? No, they're going to say he was down at the 1. He tried to make the effort for it, but they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1 coming up for the Tigers.
I'm just going to give a guess that either Kitzman or Adamson at the fullback is going to get this.
Seems like a pretty good guess. They're going to have, again, 3rd and goal at the 1, and I also think it goes without saying they're going for it here as well.
This is the fullback, Adamson, right here. Yep.
So here we go. They'll go right in the middle of Adamson in the end zone. Touchdown, Lenox, and they add to their lead. It's at 36-12.
Nothing fancy. Go ahead and try to stop us. We're going to run between the tackles, and we're going to see if you can stop it. So things have turned here in Bedford.
So Lenox gets a pick from Waylon Cook. Xavier Adamson scores from 1 yard out, and what was a 12-point game is now a 24-point Lenox lead as they go for 2 now, trying to balloon this lead up to 26. Funk will go under center. Puts the ball on the carpet. He'll launch into the end zone, though. Drugger, a defender in off his hips, but it's 38-12. Lenox leading Bedford, 6:50 left here in the third on the KMA video stream.
OSI is considered a premier global food provider by many of the world's leading brands. OSI delivers leading-edge food solutions for product development as well as processing, and much of it is done from their Oakland, Iowa plant. Being a leader in the industry allows OSI Oakland to give back to the communities by sponsoring area high school events, offering special programs for veterans, and other community outreach programs. To learn more, visit osigroup.com and search for the Oakland, Iowa location.
Many businesses talk about service, but at Rogers Pharmacy, it's not just talk, setting them apart from the big box stores. They're a full-service pharmacy where you can not only fill prescriptions, but they also carry an impressive line of medical equipment to meet all of your needs. So whether you need oxygen, CPAP, BiPAP, lift chairs, or diabetic shoes, Rogers Pharmacy has them all. Let their family serve your family. The full-service, family-owned, independent Rogers Pharmacy, located in Tarkio, Mound City, Maryville, and St. Joe. Visit rogersrx.com.
Welcome back to Bedford on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson with you. Scoreboard showing 38-14, but it's 38-12. Now they got it adjusted. Lenox on top of Bedford. 2 quick touchdowns for the Tigers. That one a touchdown run from Xavier Adamson, the 5th touchdown score of the night for Lenox, his 2nd. And Trace Miller is getting a workout done. He's got a workout all season. We'll tow things away. Godsey gets underneath of the 2. Good to see him back in. Godsey hits the hole. Godsey gets out of 1 tackle and is brought down by the kicker Miller at the 27-yard line. And that'll be where Bedford begins their next drive as the Bulldogs slow to get up. That looks to be Tim Parrott. And Silas Walston, rather, that comes up. And Todd Lenox has been able to kind of impose their will lately.
Yeah, and it really started with them being able to have that stop on that first Bedford drive. We kind of talked about how if Bedford would have been able to go down the field and get a score, that could have changed the complexion of this entire half. That changes their strategy, and it changes theirs. But with Bedford not being able to get down the field and get a first down, we thought, hey, Lenox was taking the ball at their own 5 after that great punt. If they could just keep them down there, and then what does Lenox do? They go down there and run the ball between the tackles, go 75 yards.
So we've got 6:43 left here in the third, 38-12. It's 22 unanswered for Lenox. They were up 16-0. Bedford bowed back, got down to 16-12. And then Lenox has scored the last 22 to make it 38-12. We've got a Tiger down the left side. It's Keegan Chris looks like maybe he's trying to roll a cramp. Is that?
We got a lot of that going on right now from both sides.
It's been a physical game, so can't say I'm surprised. Some other scores from around the area tonight. Riverside on top of Mount Air, 29-14. Harlan, Sergeant Bluff, Luton, giving the scoreboard operator some work, 35-28 in the third. Also, Trainer and Clarinda, a little bit different game than that Harlan Sergeant Bluff game, 13-6. Atlantic's up 28-7 on Shenandoah. Murray up 18-2 on Lamoni. And Southwest Valley HSTW, that's 14-6 in the fourth quarter. Bedford starts this one on their own 27. Cummings in a pistol. Well, hand it off to Silas Walston, who gets maybe a yard. I'm actually lost there. He doesn't get really anything out of that. A bunch of bodies come up for Bedford, for Lenox, including Devin Whipple and Dawson Marshall among the guys that are there.
If Cummings can, I think if he can pull that and keep it around the left end, I think he's going to have a big game. But they are, here we've got split backs.
And again, they'll go Carter DeMott this time, and he is met by number 30, Keegan Kitzman. He's been all over the place tonight, offensively and defensively. And
Bedford's going to have to go to the air here if they want to try to get any chance to score on this drive. Lenox has got pretty much all 8 guys within 5 yards, 10 yards of the line of scrimmage there. And
so it's third and long for Bedford at the 25-yard line. 5:40 remaining in the third. Down 38-12. Cummings in a pistol. Looking to his right, just had to get rid of it. There was pressure coming off the edge with Connor Fitzgerald, who's not the first time he's been back there tonight. It's going to force a fourth down for the Bulldogs, and the punting unit's going to come out there.
This has really been an impressive second half by Lenox. They have really imposed. I mean, it just wears on you. You know, if you can hold on, and which it seemed like Bedford was doing a good job of flowing, but
like we said, football so much a game of adjustments as Shea Purdy will punt it away. Another nice punt by Purdy. Will be fielded at the 20 by Samson Adams in stride. Adams had a kick return call back earlier.
Oh,
gets right down the 40. Ball's on the carpet. We'll see if Bedford hopped on it. It looked like it. Initially they did, and they did.
Bedford has it.
And coming up with it for the Bulldogs and flexing his muscle in the process is Hunter Pierce, a senior. So Bedford, a positive play here in the third, gets it at midfield. A 26-point hole, big decline, but got to start somewhere if you're Bedford.
I would do something right now that would catch Lenox off guard. You've already thrown the double reverse pass and Butcher's out. The guy that you've depended on for that. So
Cummings will go option right side. Walston, who lowers the shoulder, gets about 4 before being brought down to the 36. First time we've seen that tonight. It's a positive gain for Bedford on first down. For second, about 6. And 38-12. Lenox in control here. Here's a low snap. Cummings just has to hop on it. I don't know if he got on it in time. There were bodies all over the place. They're going to give it to Bedford. Dawson Stream there to clean it up. Bedford going backwards.
Starting to see a lot of new numbers on that defense from Lenox. They're starting to run some different guys in there, try to keep a lot of their guys like Grunman and
Kitzman.
Yeah, trying to keep a lot of their guys fresh. Jonathan Weaver, they're trying to keep him on the sideline a little bit.
So it's 3rd and 12 for Bedford now, down 38-12. They got it at their own 38. Walston will go in motion, and that play is blown up. Connor Fitzgerald read it and drops Cummings for a big loss. He's made a couple of really big plays defensively.
And he is playing at least a yard and a half outside the tackle. So as they try to hand off on that sweep, there is no way that left tackle is going to block him. He just comes straight up the field and blows that play up in the backfield.
So Bedford got it to midfield after the fumble recovery. They go backwards from there. It's 4th and 19. And here's a punt from Shea Purdy. High, booming punt. And Lenox wants no part of it. It will take a favorable Lenox bounce out of bounds inside the 20. And that'll be where the Tigers begin their next drive of this game. 3:29 left in the third. 38-12 they lead here on the KMA video stream.
At PCSB, we believe in helping our customers and our community grow. And service is how we do it. This is about making banking better. We are here to serve. We have an innovative spirit and a heart for people that moves us to do what's right. Because at the end of the day, we know what matters most. Visit us online at wearepcsb.com. PCSB, we believe in you. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Maynard, Todd Jacobson with you. 38-12. Lenox leading Bedford. It's the back 40 battle. And with a name like that, you expect it to be physical maybe and aggressive, and Lenox has been just that here in the second half. They're going to start on their own 14, and they'll run it up the middle. That looks like it was Kitzman with it. And now we got an injured Tiger down. And looks to be Duncan Marshall.
Anytime the teammates go, and that's a double leg cramp. They got both legs up and trying to get the toe pointed back towards the nose to try to get that cramp out.
That's about, I believe, the third or fourth cramp we've seen tonight from either side. If you're just tuning in, Lenox led 16-0 early on. Bedford got it down to 16-12. Lenox converted a big fourth down late in the second quarter. They scored a couple plays later, had a 24-12 lead going into the half. They get a stop, they score, they get a turnover, they score. As impressive as the Lenox offense has been, Todd, how about the defense? Take away the one big play. Been a pretty stout performance.
They've been a different defense in the second half. They've really attacked the A and B gaps. But the thing that's been impressive is they've moved their defensive ends. To me, it seems like they've moved their defensive ends out a little bit to take away any of the jet sweep action that Bedford was having some success with. And the linebackers have just been flowing and attacking. That's been the most impressive change. But what Lenox is also doing is they're running some fresh bodies in and who are playing 110 miles an hour. And that has been a big difference because Bedford's kids are playing both ways.
So Lenox has it on their own 16-yard line. 2nd and 9 coming up. 38-12. The Tigers trying to move to 3-0. They've got 3 minutes left in this quarter, another 12 left in the fourth. A 26-point lead. Bedford loads the box, and Lenox will run it on the left side. Grunman, it's Connor Fitzgerald actually with the toe. So yeah, they've been able to give Grunman and Kitzman a little bit of a breather. I think, up 26 as well. It's a long season, even though it might not feel like it on the body when you run the way they do.
A lot of the middle three guys from Lenox, which, we talked a lot about, the fact that you've got 235, 300, and 245 up front. But then they go two tight ends. So you're trying to attack a line of scrimmage being blocked by two big tight ends as well, and that's
Waylon Cook, who falls forward close to the chains. We'll see where they spot it. It was 3rd and 5 at the 20, and they're going to give him the first down. He got it by a couple of yards, it looks like. Gain of 7. Lenox now, my Velisca math tells me 279 yards on the ground.
And they haven't – there's a couple times when they've needed to go to the air, and they've been close to – and they've had that one right before halftime. They've hit one right before half, but this is Lenox football 2021.
Funk wants to throw. He'll take a shot downfield to Jonathan Weaver, and it was deflected by Asher Weed. Gage Godsey also there in coverage. I think you could go, it's 2021 Lenox football, but also kind of looks like, 2008 Lenox football, 2009 Lenox football.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat this year. And this district, only 2 of the teams, which is East Union and Griswold, of those 2 teams, they're the only 2 that aren't ranked in the KMA 8-man rankings. So it's a district that is loaded to bear. So you've got Fremont Mills and East Mills and the Stanton Essex. And
here's a run that is blown up for no gain. Waylon Cook actually goes backwards a couple. That's going to bring out the 3rd down and a long, long ways to go. But yeah, as you mentioned, Todd, this district, it is brutal. And I don't think, Lenox right now probably emerging as the favorite in this district as Funk will work out of the shotgun. And high snap, has to cut to the left to pick it up. Broken play. He tosses it to Waylon Cook, who spins out of a tackle, keeps the legs moving, and then falls down the 34. That might be the most entertaining 7-yard pass play I've seen in a long time.
And that's a touchdown if Asher Weed does not hang on to him. So Lenox is going to have a 4th down and 5, and with a lead like this, I would think that they would punt.
Yep.
They don't want to give Bedford any a chance for good field position.
We are under a minute left here in the 3rd, 38-12 Lenox. I think they're just going to – there's about 2-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. So they will have to snap it one more time before the end of this quarter. They're going to take their time breaking the huddle. Got 5 seconds left on the play clock. Been a fun one here tonight. Our game of the week. And Lenox will just take the delay of game. Give your punter 5 more yards to work with 3.7 ticks remaining on the clock in the 3rd quarter.
As we were saying just a second ago, it is going to take a great effort by a defense that can match them up front to stop this team. I think that they control the tempo and the whole rhythm of a game by being able to just mash out first downs.
I think the matchup I'm looking forward to in this district, Lenox Fremont Mills, final week of the regular season. Very well could be a district title on the line there. Of course, still got a long way to go before that. Here's the final play of the 3rd quarter. Samson Adams will punt. Booming punt from him, and Quentin King will let it take a hop and retreat. It's going to be downed around the 15-yard line. Isaac Grunman there to pick it up, and Bedford will begin the 4th quarter with the ball on their own 15, down 38-12 here on the KMA video stream.
Nutrien Ag Solutions is your leading agricultural retailer of crop inputs and expert solutions. And they're your choice in the region for top-of-the-line products and customer service. When nothing short of the best is your standard, talk with Nutrien Ag Solutions in Westboro, Missouri, Coyne, Percival, and Essex, Iowa for fall application and products. Nutrien Ag Solutions, growing your crops and your bottom line.
For over 25 years, Chat Mobility has provided you the latest technology, competitive prices, and a nationwide high-speed network. Though important, we're a whole lot more. We serve your hometown communities, sponsor your local chambers and events. It's our goal to work hard while giving back to those who graciously support us. At Chat Mobility, our interests are much deeper than providing great service. We're just committed to serving you. To learn more, see us at chatmobility.com today.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mader, Todd Jacobson with you. We go to the 4th. Lenox in control, 38-12. trying to win their 4th consecutive back 40 battle and move to 3-0 on the year. They've done so behind a strong rushing performance. Todd Jacobs, how about 279 yards on 50 carries?
You know, and Bedford is not, I mean, they have fought them tooth and nail the entire way, but Lenox is just so good up front. And then you add the fact that you've got 2 running backs back there that are willing to get in there and get dirty with, lead blocks. And Grunman is one of them, too. I know he gets a lot of carries, but he's also been in a position where he's been that lead back on a few.
So Bedford will begin this quarter, the final frame. Trying to remember where they downed it at. I think it was inside the 10. No, okay, the 23. The VAR official was jogging back. I don't remember it being that far back. We're going to spot it at the 23.
I thought it was a little further back, but
I thought it was inside the 20. Thought it was.
And they've got 4th down.
So okay, so there's a penalty on 4th down.
Gotcha. So this will be untimed.
Okay, so so it will be the start of the 4th quarter. They are re-kicking, so it was a penalty on Lenox. We did not see any gesture from the official. There's a punt coming from Samson Adams. Bedford rushes that one, and it'll take a hop. Godsey let it get by him, and it's going to be downed. Might have actually been a touchback. Lenox tried to make a play on it.
Yeah, they're marking it at the 1.
See if I can tell who it is when he gets up. Might be Duncan Marshall that made the play. No, it was Connor Fitzgerald once again making a heads-up play. Ends up costing Bedford about 15, 20 yards of field position.
I was kind of looking because the referees were kind of talking to each other. But if he was touching any part of the goal line, then that is a touchback. Yeah. But the referee was trying to catch up to the play, and I don't know if he didn't quite see it back there. But unfortunately, Bedford, they got to switch the footballs back out.
So we've started the 4th quarter here in Bedford, 11:49 remaining, and it's 38-12 Lenox. The Tigers trying to move to 3-0 as the play clock starts. Bedford just hasn't been able to get anything going offensively so far in the second half. Here's Cummings, will work out of the shotgun. And they go end around. Walston has to just kind of change up field and falls forward for a couple.
That's such a dangerous play. You're literally handing off in the end zone on a jet sweep while you're trying to get the edge, and we've got a timeout.
Got another injured Bulldog, and that might be Silas Walston. That is not what you want to see if you are Bedford. As Lenox will come off the field, and
we have 2 guys down, and one's
Carter DeMott was one of them. I could tell that.
One guy's got cramps, so he's another teammate's trying to help him out. And
so DeMott is down, and it looks like Shea Purdy is tending to him. What I would say is likely a cramp, and then Silas Walston is down too. He is not moved, and he's being tended to by a trainer as well. Walston will come off the field. Be 2nd down from the 2 coming up for Bedford. As 2 different Bulldogs come off. DeMott comes off. Walston comes off as well. So some new faces will come out there for Bedford. They've got 2nd and 10 on their own 22, on their own 2 rather. Lenox all over Shenandoah tonight, 37-7. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. Now we got a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 38-12, Lenox leading Bedford here on the KMA video stream online, KMAland.com.
Bedford Drug offers more than just your prescriptions. They are now providing immunizations, including flu, pneumonia, and shingles vaccinations. Plus, they offer prescription synchronization for your convenience. Stop in and visit with pharmacist Mike Schweitzer for more information. See their expanded gift selection, too. Convenience, competitive prices, and people willing to help. Just a few reasons that Bedford Drug is the pharmacy with more for you. Get professional and experienced advice on the spot. Bedford Drug on Main Street in Bedford.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. Trevor Mater, Todd Jacobson with you. Early stages of the fourth quarter. We've got 11:35 left in this one. 38-12. Lenox in control. The Tigers have been able to make some hay on the ground. 50 carries, 279 yards. So Bedford, we've talked a lot about the Lenox offense, but how about only 148 yards defensively allowed for Lenox as well, Todd? The Lenox defense, definitely in the second half, has been able to clamp down.
Yeah, and we talked about it, who was going to make an adjustment at halftime. And, Bedford, unfortunately, had to come out with losing one of their key players, Logan
Bucher.
Wasn't able to play in the second half for precautions. And, Lenox really decided, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to widen out those defensive ends because Bedford likes to run the jet sweep with those fast slot running backs, receivers that they have. And they were going to do everything they can to just force the ball between the tackles and let their linebackers come up and attack, and that's exactly what they've done.
So Bedford's going to have second down from their own 2.
Look how wide they are.
And Cummings from his own end zone. Did he get out? I don't know that he did.
Safety.
He didn't. It's a safety. Lennox gets the stop. Well, looks like Hernan Castor was one of the bodies in there, and it's now 40-12.
Yeah, right there I was just trying to point out that they've even told them you can even stand up outside those defensive end and make all the action come inside those tackles, which Bedford inside their own 1 yard line wasn't really able to do. And
so it makes it 40-12. 24 unanswered from the Tigers with 11:29 left in this one. So now we'll get the punt coming from Bedford as well. And it'll be Shea Purdy squaring it away. Final in Missouri tonight, East Atchison moves to 3-0. They get a 48-0 win over South Holt. No, Creston's up 28-14 on Denison Schleswig. How about Underwood tonight? 69-7 over St. Albert. Ottoman on top of Fremont Mills, 42-20. Harlan leading Sergeant Bluff-Luton. They've pulled away. It's now 49-26, the punt. Returned by Adams, and he gets a nice run out of it inside the 20.
So I was kind of curious as to if Lenox would keep a lot of their starters out there, and they still have a large part of their offensive line. They've taken their running backs, Kitzman
and Grudman.
Yeah, they're not in, but
yeah, they've got Grudman in there. They do have Kitzman back in there.
Yeah, I didn't see them.
So they're going to start on the Bedford 19. They'll work out of the eye. Funk will keep it. Running to the left, trying to follow his block. It's a nice block from Grudman. Drags Carter DeMott a couple yards. Brought down at the 13-yard line.
Good play by DeMott because if he doesn't tackle him there at the 12-yard line, that is probably going in for a touchdown.
So it's a gain of about 6 for Gabe Funk.
That Underwood score, they might be the team to beat.
I think they are in Class A, 1A, 2A around this area. They're the top-ranked team in the power rankings. Derek, Ryan, and I like to think we know what we're talking about.
And that's the team that they've got all those kids that are track kids.
Here's Funk under center, split back set, and he'll go to Grudman. Grudman stays on his feet. Isaac Grudman, his third touchdown of the night, this time from 13 out.
And that's the same trap play that they ran earlier where they fake. It's split backs, and Grudman is away from the play, and they fake the sweep, and then reverse handoff, inside handoff, and that's the second time they ran it to Grunman. That is the second touchdown that he has on that play.
So that's Grunman's third touchdown of the night, his 9th of the season. And Lenox will go for 2. That one from 13 out. A 2-point conversion here would make it continuous clock. Funk will go under center. He keeps it. They want to throw it. It's almost intercepted. That was read nicely by Asher Weed on the far side. Lenox wanted to go to Waylon Cook, but it falls flat, and it's 46-12 with 10:34 left here in the ballgame on the KMA video stream online, KMAland.com.
There's no better time than game time to catch up with friends, enjoy a cold beverage, and let someone else prepare the delicious food. And there's no better place than Stadium 34 in Red Oak. Kitchen, cocktails, and sports are all offered at the Stadium 34 Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. and weekends from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. Serving delicious breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus banquet rooms and catering options are available. Call 623-1021 or better yet, stop by Stadium 34 at 1200 Senate Avenue in Red Oak.
Welcome back to Bedford here on the KMA video stream. 46-12. Lennox leading Bedford. Isaac Grumman just had his third touchdown of the night. Now Trace Miller will kick things off for Lennox. Silas Walston and Gage Godsey back to return for the Bulldogs. 30 unanswered for Lennox has them on their way to a back 40 battle title. That one fielded at the 1 yard line by Walston. Gets a block from Godsey, trying to figure out where to go with it. Gets brought down inside the 15. Todd, it seems like all 9, the Bedford special teams on kick returns maybe just been a little too hesitant to break one. They've had chances. It looked like they've had chances.
A couple times they have. And, the physicality of Lennox has really shown through here in the second half. They have a special teams, their offensive front, and playing defense.
So Bedford's going to take over on their own 13, down 46-12, and looks like Tristan Cummings still the signal caller for Bedford, and they'll hand it off. Walston, nothing there for the taking, in a bevy of Tigers in there. Hernan Castor, one of them. Keegan Kitzman, another one. Devin Whipple comes up a little wobbly.
You don't want to lose him.
No.
That's your starting center and nose guard, and
he comes off the field kind of gingerly and will be tended to on the sideline.
You don't want to lose your 6'1", 300-pound
No.
center at the middle of your offense and defense.
Standout wrestler for the Bedford Lennox program, state medalist. Sure has high aspirations for his senior season. Here's Cummings in the pistol, put the ball on the floor. He got it back, but it's going to be inside the 10. Bedford's offense just hasn't been able to show any energy in the second half, Don.
Yeah, and, I would point to one thing, and that is that they've had trouble, and now they're replacing the center, but they've had doesn't it seem like they've had trouble with the snap like the entire game? Like Cummings has had the ball on the ground, he's had to pick it up, and that just ruins the timing of every play that you're trying to run.
So it's third and a long, long ways, almost to the Missouri State line, I would say. Call it 3rd and 16. Another kind of awkward snap. Cummings has to option off the last minute to Walston, who turns nothing into something. Gets brought down at the 18-yard line. Jonathan Weaver, one of the bodies there, as well as Samson Adams and Keegan Kitzman, but he's going to be a couple yards shy of the sticks.
Thought maybe he had the sideline, but Weaver has played a great game.
Yes.
He's a linebacker, and he's one of those guys that just pursues the ball hard, no matter what sideline, even if it's opposite of where he's at. Another one of those standout defensive players for Lennox.
9 minutes left. Shea Purdy, who's had a workout tonight, lines up to punt, but not before we get a timeout taken. And Todd, this is a Lennox team that, to beat them this year, you're going to have to find a way to match their physicality.
You're going to have to. And I don't mean on sideline to sideline. They want to get you in a phone booth and just battle you. And they've got size up front. They've got running backs that are basically lead backs that are going to come up and smack you as a linebacker. And if they can run into a team that is as physical between tackle to tackle, which Lenox likes to run with those two tight ends, so it's going to be tight end to tight end, and put everybody in that box. If they can run into a team that can match them up front, I think it's force them to throw the ball a little bit. I think that would be a challenge for them, but I've been really impressed.
Final tonight in 11-man action, Nottoway Valley beats Red Oak. A shootout, 6-0. Nottoway Valley gets the win in that one. Trainer, Clarinda, we thought that one would be a bruiser. It has been. They're tied at 13 in the fourth. High snap on the punt. Purdy trying to have to do something, and he's just going to say a prayer. He's got a man wide open down the field, Asher Weed, who hauls it in and will drag a defender down inside the 20 before being brought down. That's just the way they drew it up, right?
What is I'm almost certain that they had linemen downfield.
Yeah.
But it's on a punt. But they let it go, so what a throw. That basically was a 40-yard throw while he's rolling to his left.
It goes in the books. I'll be able to tell you in a moment just exactly how many yards, but I believe it'll be the second largest play of the game for Bedford. It is a 44-yard pass, only that halfback. So their two longest passes have came from their running back and their punter tonight. As Cummings will option it right side. Silas Walston gets to the edge.
That's going to be a holding on the edge.
He lowers his sholders and lays the boom to Samson Adams. Gets brought down inside the 10. But it's going to be all for now with a penalty marker down.
Yep, that a lot of times on the edge, you've been told this play doesn't work unless you get that block made. And there was Jonathan Weaver was running the ball, and they happened to hold him, so that play might be able to work, but they caught him.
Tri-Center, a blowout tonight over Missouri Valley, 56-22. Logan Magnolia, 36-24 winner over Westwood. Those two face each other next week in a very interesting Class A battle. Riverside looking like they're going to move to 3-0 for the first time in, I believe, 17 years. They're up 29. Well, Mounters come back a little bit, 29-26. That was 29-14. So maybe they hang on to the barn yet in that one. As Bedford's now got a first and a long ways to go at their own 20, or the Lenox 26. They'll go option pass, Walston down the field to Weed, who breaks out of a tackle and is inside the 5.
That has been Bedford's best play, the pitch pass. And again, that worked for him, and that was a great catch, contested catch by Weed, as he was able to get it down to the 5.
So it's a gain of 21. So Asher Weeds had 65 yards receiving in the last 2 official plays. And it's first and goal for Lenox, or for Bedford at the Lenox 5. And Cummings keeps it, gets brought down from behind by Keegan Kitzman.
He's going to be at the line of scrimmage. The ball did come loose, but not until after he hit the ground. So
they will have second down coming up.
Those linebackers are flowing so hard to the line of scrimmage that if you've got anything that's a pass, like fake run, suck those linebackers up and have somebody pop into the end zone, that'd be a touchdown.
Cummings, low snap, they'll head off Braden Daly, his first toe of the night, and he is met by a trio of Tigers. And Jonathan Weaver again in there on the stop. It just seems like a Lenox team that is deep.
They got a lot of size up front. That's and they lost a couple yards, so they're going to have to find a way to spread them out.
7 minutes left. That's 46-12. This score probably not going to change the result of the game, but Bedford still fighting. Here's Cummings. Pressure coming. He lets one go to Weed. And Drummond read it well. And Dalton Kitzman there applying the pressure.
Yeah, Kitzman was they blitzed him through the line of scrimmage, and so by the time that snap gets to Cummings, he looks up and he's got pressure in his face, and he's just throwing it.
So we get a timeout on the field. Bedford facing a 4th down and goal from their own 6:44 left. We will keep it here. Take a look at some of the scores from around the area. Harlan, they've pulled away now 55-26. They've just got weapons all over the field.
This was the last game for Harlan that they would get tested.
Yeah,
I know the coaches don't want to tell your team that,
right.
But there is nobody in the district that's going to test Harlan.
Might not be many teams in the state that's going to test a team like that.
My only worry would be that, are you going to be sharp once the playoffs hit? Because you're going to hit some really good teams, and when you get to the Dome.
Trainer Clarinda's in overtime right now, 13-13. We mentioned Riverside Mount Air. Mount Air was down 15. They battled back, down 29-26. Fun one in Missouri tonight. The Missouri 8-man number 1 ranked Stanberry Bulldogs and number 2 King City, 34-32 in the 4th quarter of that one. And then Nebraska action, Lord Central Catholic, a dominant win over Johnson Brock. That was a state-ranked battle. The Knights moved to 3-0 on the year with a 49-8 victory.
That Stanberry King City, that's as big a rivalry as Stanberry Worth County down there.
Yep, or North Andrews Stanberry.
Yeah, I started my coaching career down in Stanberry, so very familiar with that part of the school, or part of the Missouri schools.
Flag on the snap. Cummings took a shot to the end zone trying to go to Bryson Urich, but there were penalty markers right away, probably some type of illegal movement. And
they'll decline it, so Lenox will take the ball.
So Lenox is going to get the pigskin back, up 46-12, 6:39 remaining, and we'll see what the personnel looks like for the Tigers. I see Jake Cox out there. I believe his first offensive snaps that I've noticed tonight.
But they still have their starting offensive line. They still have Marshall, Whipple, and Castor out there as their linemen.
Good to see Whipple back in there as well. And you've got Gabe Funk. And, Todd, maybe it's a situation, too, so you got a freshman quarterback. Maybe you want to keep him out there a little bit more. They're going to keep Grunman out there as well. They've got Xavier Adamson as the fullback in the I formation. And they'll give Xavier Adamson the tote. He breaks out of a couple tackles, spins up near the 15-yard line before being brought down.
They've really split time between Kitzman and Adamson. And, those two guys, those two fullbacks, are just so hard to tackle. And they're two different running backs. Adamson's a little smaller, a little shiftier. And so when they run that quick fullback dive to him, he's able to kind of get around or one-cut a couple guys and try to score. But
that run puts Lenox over 300 yards on the ground, 306 by my unofficial stat. 6 minutes to go in this one. They'll toss it to Adamson. He's got all types of space. He pulls forward to the 24. A lot of window dressing on that play, and they go to the fullback Adamson.
And that's the same play that Grunman was able to score on twice. It's that trap, that quick trap. It's an inside handoff, and that is something that we did not see in the first half, but they obviously had talked about at halftime. You get an aggressive team that's running to the ball, and you're able to come back and hand off underneath.
So 1st and 10, Lenox on their own 25. They'll put it in the belly of Grunman, who tries to spin off a blocker, stays on his feet. Isaac Grunman, foot race, Scottsy in pursuit to the 20, to the 10, and Isaac Grunman is 4th scorer of the night. This one from 55 out. That puts him over 200 yards on the ground.
Nice run. He was able to cut back and thought at his initial stop when he was pushing towards the hole. He cut back, and there was nobody left. Everybody had ran to the ball, and nobody was left on the backside.
So a 55-yard score makes it 52-12, and now we'll get running clock for the final 5 minutes and 19 seconds of this one. This score got maybe a bit deceptive. It was a ball game at halftime. Funk will line up in the eye with Adamson and Grunman in the backfield. Funk wants to throw, dumps it out, caught on the right side, and coming down with it's Jonathan Weaver for the successful 2-point try, makes it 54-12. But like I said, Todd, if you're Bedford, you go into the half, you're down 12, you score that first drive. It's a one-possession game. Could look very different than it does right now.
Yeah, if it's almost like we're looking at two different teams from the first half. Now, Lenox is still they've made some adjustments, and you talked earlier about how this game is one of adjustments. Well, Lenox on defense said we're not going to let anything go outside of us. So they pretty much moved all of their defensive ends and set them up at least 1.5 yards outside Bedford's edges and said, we're going to force you to run up the middle and let our linebackers flow. And it has completely shut down everything that Bedford's tried to do. No big run. They have not had any big runs on the edges in the second half.
Final tonight from Oakland. Riverside holds on, beats Mount Air 29-26. So Coach Darryl Frayne and company moving to 3-0. I know that's someone that obviously you followed closely there at Riverside, and looks like it could be a special year for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I ran into Coach Frayne about 3 weeks ago and asked him how he thought his team was going to be, and he knew that he had great skill players, especially at quarterback and running back. He didn't know what they were going to get up front, and I think he would tell you he's still worried about what he sees up front. But
Gotze on the return, walks the tightrope, goes out of bounds. We'll see where they spot. They're going to say the 18-yard line. And the clock said it's going to run from here on out. 5 minutes remaining. Lenox will get East Union next week as they try to move to 4-0 on the year. Meanwhile, Bedford, they're going to get another physical team in Fremont Mills. That's probably going to be kind of angry after a loss to Audubon tonight. Here's Cummings. Will work out of a pistol. And he'll just hand it off to Silas Walston, who gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
I still think Bedford will have a lot to say at the end of the season.
I mean, too.
This only makes them 2-1. And, you know, what you do is, if you're Coach Nally, find a lot of the positives, especially from the first half, things that your team did, and carry them over to next week. You know, just hope right now that your team can stay somewhat healthy. But there were a lot of positives for Bedford to pull out of it. They lost to a better team tonight in Lenox.
Cummings, and there was movement on the front line. Connor Fitzgerald bowls across, and then he tries to point a finger. Clock will continue to run down under 4 minutes remaining now. The clock will stop at 3:59. Lenox led by co-head coaches Michael Nardini. Played at Madrid, and you can kind of see, you know, when you watch the Lenox offense, you can kind of see some shades
of Randy Hinkle.
I had to think of the name for a moment. But you know, that's a school that's had some successful players go on to be coaches. ACGC's doing some great things with Cody Matthewson. And then the defense for Lenox ran by Cole Bond, a Bedford alum. I'm sure this is a game that, you know, and talking to him earlier this week, it's always a fun one for him. It's probably going to be a lot more fun knowing that his defense has played well and his team's going to move to 3-0 in the next couple of minutes. Cummings will want to option it left side of Walston. Walston follows his blockers, and Jonathan Weaver chases him out of bounds after a gain of a couple.
You know, Bedford really has tried a lot to try to get anything to the edge, and Lenox pretty much has just completely shut that down in the second half. I was kind of thinking that Bedford would try to spread it out with twins or trips open and try to get anything where those linebackers would have to cover guys in space, and they just haven't had a chance to really do that.
So we're under 3 to go now here. Cummings, again, they want to option it to Walston, and that is gobbled up. Trace Miller, the man there to wrap Walston up. It's going to be fourth down coming up for Bedford. After a loss of 3. Some numbers tonight. Bedford, I've got them 211 yards of offense, 77 rushing yards on 29 carries. How about Lenox? 417 yards of offense, 371 on the ground on 55 hauls. That's committing to the run game. Here's a punt by Purdy. A nice punt. Takes a weird hop. Grunman backed away from it. And another nice punt from Purdy down inside the 20.
The total yardage for Bedford if you think about it, 3 of those big plays that they had, 2 of them were pitch passes, and one was a broken play on a punt where he's able to throw it 40 yards downfield for a 45-yard play.
So Lenox will take over at their own 18, and they're probably just going to milk this clock. Yeah, you had, I believe it was a 63-yard touchdown pass. You had the 44-yard run. And you had a 21-yard completion. So 107, 128 yards of that have come on 3 plays. So we're under 2 to go, and Funk will take the snap, run around a little bit, and fall forward after a gain of a couple. Give him about 3. You know, Gabe Funk, freshman quarterback, I'd say been very much a game manager tonight, but nothing wrong with that with the way the offense has been playing.
Not at all, and he has really managed the game well. I mean, this is his 3rd varsity start, and you can really tell that, you know, the coaches have really – I know last week I was able to hear a little bit of the Lenox coaches talking about their freshman quarterback and how they – I think the comment was, you know, you don't have to do anything really special. Just make sure that you keep us in good down and distance situations and don't turn the ball over, and he has definitely done that.
There's a run from Adamson, who will add to the rushing total. Gets about 4. But the clock will continue to roll. We're under 40 seconds to go. There's an 8-second differential between the game clock and the play clock. 16-12 at the half, or 16-12 late in the half. Lenox scored right before the break. They were up 24-12 going into the break. 32nd half, they grounded their way with the trio of Isaac Grunman, Keegan Kitson, and Xavier Adams to just under 100 total on the ground. And the 40 Bell Trophy is once again going to Lenox. They're a 54-12 victor tonight here on the KMA video stream. We'll take a real quick break. Back to wrap things up in a moment.
When buying insurance, finding protection closer to home is always a great choice. Legacy Mutual Insurance in Clarinda is a local company and has served communities in Southwest Iowa since 1870. We have independent agents ready to help you with farm, home, auto coverage. Go to our website, legacymutualia.com, for a complete listing of our agents. For 150 years, your family's needs and success have been our priority. That's our legacy at Legacy Mutual Insurance.
Final here tonight in Bedford, Lenox, a 54-12 victor over Lenox. Todd Jacobson, your thoughts?
Really impressed. I think Bedford, I think the coaches can point to a lot of positives from that first half and build on that because they've got another tough one next week.
Yep.
The run game, I think there's some things they can work on going, especially running between the tackles. But honestly, I was really impressed. This is my first chance to see Lenox in a couple of years, and they are fast and physical, and it's going to take a really great effort by somebody in the district to between the tackles to try to shut them down. On defense, I thought that the adjustments that they made at halftime by kind of widening out their defensive ends, I think, was kind of the difference. And we kind of thought turnovers might be a big difference, but I think that ended up being 1-to-1. But it came down to who can line the scrimmage, and that was the Lenox Tigers tonight.
38 unanswered points for Lenox, 378 yards on the ground on 57 carries. They were led by Isaac Grunman, who finished tonight 207 yards and 4 scores. Xavier Adamson ran for 71 yards and 2 touchdowns. Keegan Kitzman, 45 yards and a score. So all of Lennox's touchdowns came on the ground. Bedford, meanwhile, they had a couple of big plays, but they just couldn't find the consistency that they were looking for. Silas Walston had 56 yards rushing and a touchdown tonight. The Bulldogs fall to 2-1 in the year. They get Fremont Mills next week. Meanwhile, Lenox moves to try to get to 4-0 when they take on East Union next Friday night. But a fun one here tonight in Bedford. Full recap will be available online later on tonight. KMN.com. Todd, it was a tough one, my friend.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Trevor. And there's I love getting in the booth and Corey Latham, my guy, my right-hand man over here. We have an opportunity to see great football, whether it's on the sidelines or so. Good fun.
Very much fun. Thanks to Corey also for helping out with the video stream tonight. Full rundown later on tonight, KMAland.com. Saying so long from Bedford for KMA Sports and Todd Gibson. This has been Trevor. Thanks for listening and have a great night.
This sporting event on Brock